It's an absolutely beautiful day in Phoenix, Arizona. Bright sunshine beaming down on the desert mountains southwest of downtown. Sunshine beaming down on a big crowd of NASCAR fans as they file into the Phoenix International Raceway. It's a unique and beautiful setting for one of the most unique and interesting championships this sport has seen in some time.
It's the tightest chase in history. The pressure has never been greater. 3 drivers, 2 races, 1 cup. From the beginning, Denny Hamlin has had a plan. And in Texas, he dropped the hammer.
Denny Hamlin is coming in a big hurry.
With an aggressive ride that shifted momentum.
That's the way to win it, baby! Hell yeah!
Putting him right where he wants to be. Now, with a team in turmoil,
The 24 crew is going to start pitting the 48 car.
Jimmy Johnson finds himself on the ropes.
Guys, I need you, and they're so bad. 10-4, man. 10-4. We know, man. We know.
The road leads to Phoenix, but who will rise under the pressure? Will the points leader respond when suddenly he's the one being chased? Will the reigning champion drive his way out of uncharted territory at a track he dominates? Or will Kevin Harvick step up and steal the lead? With just 2 races left, it all comes down to a simple choice. Do you feel pressure, or do you apply it?
They're going to have to beat us now. It's on.
The harsh desert surrounding this track is a great metaphor for the competition we're about to see on the track. Creatures adapting to survive the conditions they find themselves in. In this case, the creatures are great drivers who would be champion. The predators, those who hope to steal the trophy for themselves. And ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown. Get ready for the second to last race of the chase from the 1-mile Phoenix International Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. After his clutch win at Texas last Sunday, Denny Hamlin did something no one's been able to do this late in the season for 4 years now. Knocked Jimmy Johnson out of the #1 spot in the championship. Hamlin enters this second to last race with a 33-point advantage over the champ. Kevin Harvick, 59 points back in third. You see the points they gained or lost to the lead at Texas. A reminder of what could happen today. That 500-mile race last Sunday in Fort Worth produced some amazing headlines. The on-track confrontation between Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton. The run from 30th starting spot to victory lane and a new championship lead for Denny Hamlin. And that mid-race substitution of Jeff Gordon's pit crew for Jimmy Johnson's over-the-wall group. It was quite a day last Sunday in Fort Worth, which brings us to today, where at Phoenix, Denny Hamlin will start in 17th position at a track where he may have set his team on course to win this title by playing hurt back in April. Jimmy Johnson today starts 21st. He's won 4 of the last 6 here. And this race, the last 3 straight years, a win that put him back atop the standings. Kevin Harvick will take the green flag back in 29th position. Kevin's a 2-time Phoenix winner. He needs to make something happen here to have a fighting chance in the finale. What a setting, what a setup for what turned into a very fun championship. I wonder whatever we'll talk about inside the ESPN pit studio, outside of Turn 2 here at Phoenix today. Inside, Alan Bestwick with the man who's led more laps than any other at this track in a Cup car, Rusty Wallace, team owner Big Brad Daugherty, and champion crew chief Ray Evernham. Let's talk about the place, the race, and the chase. Start us off.
Now, this is a 1-mile racetrack that races like a short track. It really does. Real soft, sticky tires, a very slick racetrack. It's a track that I love coming to, but it's a track also that's got a lot of history that I really respect. They've run stock cars, Indy cars, midgets, sprint cars, and great drivers like Mario Andretti, AJ Foyt, didn't I say that? AJ Foyt, yeah. Pernelli Jones, great drivers that we've heard about all through our careers have run at this particular track. We're out here in the Wild Wild West. You got to remember one thing, guys. It is a short track field. They will have a lot of wrecks, and everybody needs to get ready for that, too.
And you're right, and that race is like a short track race, Rusty. Now we're all tongue-tied today. You know, the place is slick, and as it changes throughout the day, the shadows get longer and cover turn 1. Tires are very important here, but cut tires can be a factor. Pit road is tricky. Throw in the possibility of a long green flag run, which we've seen here before, and then tire strategy at the end could be very exciting.
You know, NASCAR has to be really excited because for 4 years now, we've been trying to get to this scenario where we have an ultimatum put down between the drivers. We're going into these last 2 races, and this this championship will be decided over these next 2 weeks. All we've needed over these last 4 years was for someone else to step up like Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick has and been able to apply the pressure to that 48 team. We have a great scenario going into today's race.
Let's give you some interesting numbers to look at where today's race in Phoenix is concerned. Jimmie Johnson has been dominant here in recent years. I said before, he's won this race the last 3 straight years, and 4 of the last 6 at Phoenix. He finished 3rd and 4th in the others. Denny Hamlin has 4 third-place finishes in the last 8 races here. Leave out his 30th from April. That was the first post-knee surgery race. Harvick has 2 wins, but those were in 2006. He hasn't led here since 2007, hasn't had a top 5 here since his 2006 wins. Now, by the numbers, you'd think Jimmie Johnson has the upper hand here. Agree or disagree, and why?
Well, by the numbers, you would think you would, but I watched him in practice yesterday, and I was not impressed. Pretty good he was, but I'll tell you, the guy that impressed me was Kevin Harvick. He looked really fast on the racetrack, very confident going in this race. He's the guy that's got to throw Hail Marys at this thing and catch up at the very end, and I think he can do it. Look, Johnson's great, no doubt about that. But it looks like he can be beat by Kevin Harvick, in my opinion.
I totally disagree, because we're just taking numbers at this specific racetrack and looking at his incredible success over the last 4 years. What I'm looking at is who's won 2 of the last 3 races and who has the momentum, and that is Denny Hamlin. He will be very difficult to beat here. He doesn't have the resume that Harvick or Johnson has here, but he is a tremendous short track racer. I think Denny Hamlin could be the guy to beat today.
Well, disagree that Johnson has the upper hand. Agree with both these guys that he can be beat. If you look at the numbers, yes, that gives him the advantage, but the numbers have been changing. Basically, both the 11 car and the 29 car have been punching above their weight this year and changing their numbers. And again, based on practice, the 48 car was the 3rd best car. They just didn't look sharp.
Numbers, figures lie, and liars figure. You remember?
Ooh, is that one of those?
Where'd that come from?
That's old Western North Carolina saying from up there in Black Mountain.
I got it.
We're in Arizona, man.
I'm going to give you some more figures and numbers here.
See?
And I'm not going to lie about it, because this is how close the championship is. If Jimmie earns maximum points today by leading the most laps and winning the race, Denny has to finish 3rd if he doesn't lead, or 4th and lead a lap, just to keep his championship lead heading to Homestead next week. Now, if Kevin Harvick earns max points, he can take the championship lead if Denny finishes 9th or below, or Jimmie is 5th or below. And all right, other scenarios with the lap sled thing, but that's how close it is.
A lot of ifs and buts.
One mistake will mess it all up.
There you go. Coming up, Denny Hamlin, now the championship leader after his big Texas win. Can Hamlin add another championship ring to the collection of his team owner, Coach Joe Gibbs, a man who believes principle and performance can coexist? And Jimmie Johnson's team had their troubles at Texas. Repeated pit stop problems led Hendrick Motorsports to call Jeff Gordon's crew in off the bench. How will this now permanent substitution play into the championship? And will they get bit by it today in Phoenix?
Ooh. Is that real?
This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Donovan McNabb gets a second chance against his old team as the Redskins take on Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's Eagles-Redskins on Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's. It's Phoenix International Raceway, a key late-season stop in NASCAR's championship since it joined the circuit in 1988. Fans making their way into the grandstands or finding a spot up on the hillside overlooking the track for what will certainly be a key race in this year's 3-way chase for the Cup. One of the big discussion points of the week was the pit crew swap made by Hendrick Motorsports during last Sunday's race in Texas, a change the team said would stay in effect for the final 2 races of the chase.
Disaster for Jimmie Johnson. Had a terrible right front stop.
Guys, I need you in there so bad. We know, man. We know.
The 24 crew of Jeff Gordon, they've been told to go to the 48 pit and provide assistance.
Jeff Gordon's crew will hit the 48.
People either they get it or they don't.
We had an opportunity on Sunday to make that change and see how it affected the team. And I think it did it in a positive light.
Just pulling them out of the game right now cannot have positive effects going forward.
They're not being benched. They're not sitting at home. They're going to be at the racetrack pitting one of the best drivers to ever sit in a race car seat.
If they're truly a fantastic team, hey, do it.
These guys work together, they play together, they live together, they cry together, the whole thing, and that's the way this deal is.
If you don't accept that this shop is one race team with 2 drivers, then you won't be at this race team long.
If we win the championship, we all win. We all get the same rewards.
It's not something we sell to our employees. It's not a sales pitch. It's not a motto. It's not how we do business. It's who we are.
The 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Yes, that's Jeff Gordon's crew pitting it.
The 24 team did that last pit stop at 12.6, where the 48 team did the 13.7.
I think you guys are going to see something you're not expecting to see come Sunday.
And you can see what it translates to on the track.
I think we got some damn good chances.
Why?
Because we're a badass team, man.
Oh, has this generated conversation this week. Let's bring in Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie, who are up in the booth getting ready to call today's race. DJ and Andy, your reaction to the whole crew swap story and situation?
Well, my first reaction was, oh my, this team's in trouble right now. We haven't seen that in 4 years. This team has been so flawless, like a well-oiled machine, and now they've got real problems. They brought that 24 team in, and they did a great job. They make good pit stops and seem to be a really good short-term fix. I'm not sold that this is a really positive thing for this team to win this championship. We'll see today how they perform, but, you know, when you break a team apart like that, it just can't always be good.
Yeah, Andy, my first reaction was kind of the opposite of that. I was like, wow, Chad Knaus and this race team and organization going to do whatever it's going to take to win this championship. But then my next reaction was, okay, have they really thought this through? If they're indeed going to make this change, are they going to be able to do it for the next 2 weeks? Because that could be very detrimental to their race team if they're just benching them for one afternoon and then expect them to come back and get the job done. They made that decision, obviously. They had thought that out. They're going to use them these last 2 races. I think that you use whatever resources you have at your disposal to try to give yourself the best opportunity to win the championship. I don't have a problem with it. I think they made the right call.
All right, DJ and Andy, thanks for the opinions. We will talk to you in just a little while for the race. Thank you, gentlemen. Comparing the 4 tire stop times during the chase for all of the championship-eligible teams, the 11 crew, Denny Hamlin's team, has the best average. Gordon's team has been second best, what's now Johnson's crew, while what had been the 48 team was ranked 7th. Some numbers about why the Hendrick team made the adjustment they did once Jeff Gordon was out of the race last Sunday and out of the championship effectively. And I know your thing about figures, Brad, but work with me on this one. There's been some buzz among fans displeased that the whole multi-team organizations can go ahead and make these kind of substitutions. Anyone in this group have a problem with it, and why?
I got a problem with it, first of all, because I'm jealous and I'm envious that they're able to do this. But the thing that I'm looking at in all this is that you look and listen to Steve Letarte and you listen to Chad Knaus, and I love the way they're trying to put a spin on this so that some of our media members who are looking for a story to write will take off and write about how positive this is. This is not about being positive. This is not about being warm and fuzzy and cuddly. This is about results. They've taken the group that gives them the best chance to win this championship and put them in place. The other guys just simply were not getting the job done, and that's all there is to it.
Well, and like it, agree or disagree, we asked at our weekly competition with NASCAR if there was anything to do with the rules concerning the roster. And the answer was there's not. There's not a roster. So this is a team that is taking advantage of all of the resources that they have within the rules to win this championship.
Guys, these guys talked all the time about how much of a team they are, how they work together as a team, and there's heck, their shops are side by side. I mean, they're all in the same room. To me, this was a no-brainer. This was a great move. This was a fantastic thing they had available to them to get it done. And this is something that could win a championship. I mean, these guys are fast. I'm right 100% behind Rick Henry for making his decision, and Chad Knaus.
I will be curious to see today what the reaction is, both within the team and elsewhere, if this new group hitting the 48 has a bad pit stop at some point in today's race. Now, the man who says he made the tough call last Sunday and has to make it work for these final 2 races of the championship is crew chief Chad Knaus. Those who work with him and for him say that despite the perception, Chad is friendly and approachable. But everybody knows he's only interested in one thing: winning.
If people think I'm cocky now, they should have seen me then. Jeff realizes the cars that we put underneath them are capable of winning the races, so that gives him the added confidence he needs to go out there and do it. I was pretty full of myself back then, but it fit with the team, that was for sure. You know, we had a bunch of guys that were pretty confident and young and arrogant.
There it is. That's the Winston Cup.
Being able to win the championship with Ray and with the 24 car under another crew chief really allows me to understand what the guys go through. It's definitely helped me be a better crew chief to my guys. I've done it, and I can identify with it.
Chad hasn't changed much. You know, when he was a tire changer, he was intense and unbearable as a tire changer, and he's intense and unbearable as a crew chief.
He is extremely focused, no filter between thought and brain. What he thinks comes out.
Come on, guys. We need a good pit stop here. Can't be around.
You know, there's some guys that are tough enough and can handle it. You know, there's some guys that don't.
Back him up, back him up, back him up. Stop, stop. Sorry, guys. How many good tries check this week?
Chad is type A. He's a doer. You know, he's a lead by example guy. He puts his expectations of himself on other people. Figures, man, if I can do it, why can't you do it?
It's like we spoke about, boys. Game on from this point on.
He strives for perfection. He wants to be the first car off the truck, the best looking truck in the garage, the best looking equipment, the fastest car on the racetrack. And if he is the fastest, it's not by enough.
He's very serious, and when things aren't going right, he has the appearance of being very hard to work for or gets upset easily.
Get this left front. Let's go. Come on. Turn the wheel to the right. Turn the wheel to the right.
How I respond definitely depends on the situation.
Get that spoiler bent forward. Just go until we get ready. Go. Get the out of here.
I used to be a guy that was very emotional and get upset. Now, not quite near as much.
Tire on there. Turn the wheel to the left. Turn the wheel to the left. Get the tire on there. Hurry up. Hurry up. Too late. Forget it. Just stop. Just make sure we get the splitter fixed right at lap down.
He's very detail-oriented. A lot of crew chiefs out there, I don't believe, are as hands-on with the car.
Make sure we got a plan here and we're cutting the right stuff here, guys.
He knows exactly what's in the car because he's the one that helped instruct on when they were building it.
For Chad, what's really difficult is when he's not in control. He's the head of our race team, so he's very used to telling people how to do things, what to do, and you know that's the way things work. Everything in his life is organized and in control.
When you see a guy on the 48 team and his shirt is tucked in and he's neat and clean shaven and the workspace that they have there, I think that sends a signal to the competition and to any sponsor, to everybody, that this team's prepared and it's doing its job and it's ready to go.
When you work for him, he expects the best out of you. He hired you because he feels you are the best in your sport, best in your particular position in the sport. And if you don't deliver, he's going to tell you about it. I would rather know that than someone kind of tiptoeing around things and really afraid to speak the truth. In our sport, we don't have a lot of time to make decisions, and you really need to have your point of view and get it across.
Ray, Chad was one of your original Rainbow Warriors, the person versus the persona. How do you see it?
Well, the position actually creates the persona. You as a crew chief have to be a leader. Your team has to know that you put winning above everything else, even your own personal comfort. A crew chief has to put himself second. Chad is a very driven and focused individual. He has always wanted to be the best crew chief in motorsports. He obviously is there now. The day that I hired him, I said, "Where do you want to be in 5 years, son?" He said, "I want your job." So now, not only has he got it, he's doing it better.
The mind games and the media volleys we've seen, the 11 team, the whole thing after Texas and so on, pitting right next to each other. I know you're very much into this stuff.
Yeah.
If you're Chad, how do you play it today?
Well, I'll tell you what I told Chad and Mike Ford and the 29 guys as well. I told him if Mike Ford, who was also one of my guys, challenged you, take it right back their face, pit right by the 11 this week, and invite the 29 on down. Hey, the fans will love it. Let's have a battle royale. 11-29 right on pit road. That's the way I'd handle it.
You know, Chad Knaus, to me, is synonymous with Phil Jackson, Joe Torre, Bill Belichick, Mike Krzyzewski. These are the greatest coaches in their games, and Chad Knaus, I believe, is the greatest crew chief in the game. What he does is unparalleled in an age of parity. When everyone has really good, top-notch equipment, pieces and parts, he gets the best out of it. I think Ray Evernham is the best crew chief of all time, he and Dale Inman. But I do believe that Chad Knaus has taken that golden ring from these guys and has supplanted them. I think Chad Knaus is the best crew chief of all time.
Man, that was emotional.
Wow.
I'm just telling you how it
That's
is.
all right. I was a Jordan
That
fan.
had me going.
Now, talking about details, you heard Ron Malik, the car chief, talk about the 48 team and Chad minding the details. During their technical inspection this morning, 48 team had to go back around for a second loop because the wheel studs on the right rear corner of the car were just a fraction shorter than the rules allow.
Yeah, and that fraction shorter would allow just a little bit faster pit stop if they could have pushed that envelope. You know, you just saw where the 11 crew was 1/10 of a second faster than the 25 24 crew. Those little details are the things that get you those championships.
Interesting for a race team that's having problems with their pit crew.
Not a big deal other than pushing the envelope for all they can get.
Yeah, I love it. They're going for it. It's great.
It's good stuff. So Jimmy Johnson's car now out on the grid through technical inspection and ready to go today. Coming up, Denny Hamlin, the new sheriff in town, now racing as the hunted in the championship instead of the hunter. What does it change? And Hamlin's team owner, Coach Joe Gibbs, working on another championship ring while working on winning what he says is a much bigger game. Coach Gibbs makes his point. Next on NASCAR Countdown from the Valley of the Sun.
Hi, I'm Seth Rogen. My upcoming film, The Green Hornet, is exactly like NASCAR. It's got car chases, shootouts, comedy, and romance. Okay, it's not exactly like NASCAR, but it's still unbelievably amazing. Catch The Green Hornet January 14th in 3D.
Check it out, Big Brad's fantasy car.
There you go, baby.
That's street stock, man.
I'm going racing in that thing, man. Give me some room.
Getting ready to be an honorary pace car today here at Phoenix International Raceway. Let's take a minute look back on the April race here at Phoenix. Denny Hamlin, just 10 days removed from surgery to repair a torn ACL in his left knee, climbs aboard his car for the race. He does have a relief driver standing by. It wasn't a smooth day. 14 laps into the race, Hamlin gets tagged with Kurt Busch and Casey Kane spin. The car damaged, but he continues. Then at a pit stop, the engine quits, electrical troubles, 2 laps are lost changing a battery. Denny refuses to yield to a relief driver, but makes a statement to his team.
Some people, men and women, they ain't giving up. They're going to lay it on the line. They're going to go after it as hard as they can go after it. And, you know, you're going to have to kill them to get them out of there. Denny, in this situation, made a real statement to everybody.
Denny Hamlin, Mike Ford, and Joe Gibbs Racing are 2 races away from a championship, what would be Hamlin and Ford's first titles, but for Joe Gibbs, his 4th as a team owner in NASCAR. Coach Gibbs is a man who loves competing to win, but believes that his principles that he lives his life by, family and God, can coexist with competition, even though at times they may seem at odds.
Amen. We're on God's team. We need to get in His Word. Be studying that game plan. Every day, seriously, start studying His Word. You and I are playing the biggest game of all, which is the game of life. And God's our head coach, and none of us want to lose in the biggest game of all. I would hope that I try and live by those principles laid out in God's Word. God left us a game plan, and when I followed it, it's, you know, I've led me to some successes.
I've never seen a flag so pretty. Beautifully done, guys.
Who would have expected this? Joey Logano.
Denny Hamlin gets the victory.
Utter, pure domination.
Competition is kind of what makes me tick. I love trying to put people together on a team, get them to sacrifice their individual goals for the goals of the team.
Wild Thing wins again.
Denny Hamlin fulfills a dream.
Hell yeah.
In general, we think our guys try and do things, you know, the right way. Now, they're very competitive. You catch them in a competitive environment, you're going to catch them at times where they're going to be saying some things.
I love these races. You can never win one of them, ever. Punch them right in the nose.
One of the things that we have going over here is the fact that we have radios in the cars and it's transmitted to everybody in the world. In the heat of battle, you know, there's some things that they're said you wish hadn't been said.
The last pit stop, everybody talking about these tracks. Go suck. They ain't gonna do nothing about them, mate.
When I was in the NFL, had varying personalities up there. Everybody's going to have different emotions, and particularly when they compete. And in the heat of battle.
You throw a rock, I'm going to throw a concrete block back. I basically told him that you mess with the bull, you're going to get the horns.
It's probably not his fault, you know, it was his wife wears a fire suit and the family tells him what to do.
Both Denny and Kyle, and certainly Joey, are young, and hopefully from time to time learn from mistakes.
Hamlin is good on the bottom, but that 18 is good on the top, and he blocks him. Oh, he put a block on him. In the wall. He put him in the wall.
Somebody better keep me away from Denny Hamlin after this race. I swear I'm going to kill them. All his fault. I had this race won. It was won.
This is going to be a very unhappy young man right here, by the way.
I think that on a team, you got to understand that's going to be the dynamic. And I think what you got to decide, you know, is this a good guy that fits with you? Is he somebody that our sponsor feels would represent them in the right way? We're trying to win, but we're hoping that trying to win in the right way. And it's living by those principles. Hopefully we would be an example of someone or a company that's trying to win by the right principles.
There's no question Coach Joe Gibbs leads by example, and Denny Hamlin has seen that firsthand for sure. How has the way Coach Gibbs conducts himself and leads his life impacted the way you approach yours?
Well, you just try to, you know, he's leading by example. And for me, it's, I wouldn't drive for any other guy. He's just been a big supporter of myself and my career. And obviously, he has goals in his life, and, you know, his faith is obviously very high in that. And so for me, it's you kind of look at the way he carries himself, and you try to model yourself after that.
Each track presents its certain group of challenges here at Phoenix today. You're talking about a short track, narrow, a lot of issues that can come up on a track like this. Trouble. How do you approach it?
Well, you just got to, you know, pretend you're, you know, just racing for a win, and that's it. And that's my approach today. I feel like I'm going to try to get to the front just as soon as possible and try to maintain that. We know track position here is very, very critical. So for myself, it's about going out there and trying to win the race.
Track position key indeed for Denny Hamlin. And remember, had a variety of issues in the spring here and finished 30th.
Vince, thanks to numbers in the chase for Hamlin and the 11 team. Impressive. Through 8 races, 2 wins, a worst finish of 12. Remember how far back they were at one point in the Talladega race? And yet a worst finish of 12, an average finish of just over 5. And a lot of us thought it was going to take a 5th place average or better in this chase to win it. Coach Gibbs, winning, but winning in the right way. Reaction?
Yeah, without question. I mean, Joe Gibbs is a remarkable man, remarkable human being who all of his values are based upon his rock-solid belief and faith, and he does a great job of leading these young men. I think all of these young men, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin, are very lucky to have someone like Joe Gibbs in their life, someone who can take them and through his grace, give them the opportunity to maximize their potential. Each one of these young men are going to learn a tremendous amount from him by being under him, being with him, being guided by his wisdom, and it's given these guys an great opportunity to not only learn on the racetrack, but better themselves and make themselves better human beings.
Well, and Coach Gibbs certainly walks the talk. His faith gives him a unique perspective on making decisions and handling emotions, and he's willing to share that people not just on his team. There are a lot of other people in the business that have shared things with Coach Gibbs, and that's one of the reasons I believe this man will be somebody who's not only in the NASCAR or the NFL Hall of Fame, but will someday be in the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
When you have Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin, you become a lot more faithful.
You got to have faith, huh?
So Denny Hamlin, Rusty, you've been in the position before, leading the championship, chasing the championship leader. Denny's now the leader. How does it change things for him?
Well, I don't think it's going to change him much at all, but I will say, you know, he's a different Denny Hamlin today, I believe, than what we saw in the past. You know, he said he was going to win Martinsville, and he did. He said he's going to dominate the rest of the season. He went to Texas, and he did. Now he's here at this particular track, and he's like saying, oh, man, I can't wait to get this thing behind me. He looks like he's a little nervous. But I still think he's going to run hard. I mean, it's expected to be nervous with 2 races to go, leading the championship, and you got 2 really good guys breathing down your tailpipe. He's feeling the pressure. If he says he's not, he is. This is a real nerve-wracking time for this young man. It really is.
See, I think that Denny Hamlin is one of those guys that loves hunting, you know, and we've heard him say it in the past couple of weeks. He doesn't want to be the guy who's on top and people coming after him. He likes chasing, pursuing. We heard Kevin Harvick say the same thing. So I think he's a little bit nervous about that. But I'll tell you what, he's won 2 of the last 3 races. This cat has laid down some numbers. I would not be surprised at all if we go to Homestead with Denny Hamlin still leading his points.
Now, it'll be interesting to see how the day plays for Denny Hamlin today here in Phoenix. Now, Hamlin's teammate Kyle Busch was fined $25,000 by NASCAR this week for conduct detrimental to the sport. That a result of his actions towards NASCAR officials after being penalized during the Texas race last Sunday. Busch issued an apology to officials, fans, and sponsors for his actions. Kyle starts 7th today. Coming up, we will talk with and about Jimmy Johnson, his championship challenges for this day at Phoenix, when NASCAR Countdown continues from the Valley of the Sun.
Old man told me a rattlesnake can buzz up to 34 degrees Fahrenheit. You know what I told him? Not in my yard, he won't.
Fans, filing in, coming in through the turnstiles. Driver introductions getting underway. We're getting set for the second to last race of the season for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. A race that'll see Jimmy Johnson try to rally back to the championship lead at a track where he's had tremendous success.
It is the duel in the desert. Jimmy Johnson trying to win.
Dude, you are incredible. Awesome job today. Josh, you're awesome.
This is high-stakes poker.
We got a 20-second lead. Slow it way down.
Jimmy Johnson coasts across on fumes and wins it.
10 laps to go.
And Jimmy Johnson wins for the 7th time this year. Jimmy Johnson getting closer and closer to going to Homestead and making NASCAR history.
Yes, 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 yes. Save me some of that champagne, boys.
If ever there was a track ideally suited for Johnson to retake the championship lead, it would be here at Phoenix. As you saw, Jimmy has 4 wins here, all in the last 6 Phoenix races. He's reeled off 8 straight top 5s. He's won this race for 3 straight years. He starts 21st today. Jamie Little has Jimmy's pre-race thoughts. Jamie?
Well, for the first time since 2005, Jimmy Johnson finds himself second in the points with 2 races to go. So, Jimmy, how does not being the hunted, and you're actually the hunter, change the way that you race today or strategize?
I sure liked last year a lot better when we had a huge points lead, but every year's different, and we're up for the challenge and looking forward to today's race. Yeah, it is a different situation than what we've seen in the last 4 years, but at the end of the day, there's still 195 points available out there, and we want to go get those points and do everything we can today and next weekend to win this championship.
Your crew chief, Chad Canals, told me this morning that in happy hour, you guys weren't where you need to be speed-wise. How much of a concern is that for today?
It's always a concern, but our teammates had very good practice sessions and a lot to pull from on their side. And I'm maybe not the best guy to chase a lap time. I'm more of a guy that's looking for a feel of the race car. And I know I've got a good feel, and I feel very good about the changes we've made. And once I get around traffic, if I am out of rhythm, I always seem to find my way right back into it, and I look forward to today.
You're so focused. A.J. Allmendinger's over your shoulder, and you don't even flinch. Jimmy Johnson's won the last 3 chase races here. He'll roll off 21st. Alan?
Okay, Jamie, thanks. You heard Jamie's question. Jimmy's always been the championship leader here the last 4 years. Now he's racing from behind. How's it change things for him?
I think it changes it really a lot. I've always wanted to see how hard Jimmy Johnson can run when the pressure's on. Well, right now the pressure's on. He doesn't have this big lead like he's always had. And I can't wait to see how hard he's going to run to get this thing done. I mean, we've seen the Jimmy Johnson before. It starts off the Daytona 500, racing the points, being very calculated. But now we see a guy's got to throw the Hail Marys at it and get it on. I want to see how hard he's going to do it.
I don't sense any panic in that camp whatsoever. I think we're all overthinking it. You got to realize this guy and his team have won the last 4 championships in a row, and they just did not back into those. They are excellent. They are maybe the best of all time, and they will be formidable today. And I think that Jimmy Johnson is going to lay down some law today, even though he's starting in the back.
Well, we have seen that team step up, and we know how strong Jimmy Johnson and Chad Canals can be when it comes to adjusting during a race. But a couple of things that bother me. Yesterday, they did not look that sharp in practice, and they didn't really hustle it up. He was 3rd best car. So is he good? Is he underestimating his competition? The other thing that bothers me is, have they ever had to deal with negative media like they've had this week? Has that been a distraction? Those are the 2 things I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah, they've dealt with it. People have been saying for years, he's too vanilla. He's too that. Why they just win championships. Don't count them out. They're for real.
And by the way, if Jimmy Johnson leads 11 laps in today's race, he takes the record for all-time laps led in the Cup Series at this track from Rusty Wallace.
There you go.
Oh, man. He better not lead nothing.
That ain't no good.
Up next, Kevin Harvick, who has really high hopes of winning both today's race and this championship. His reasons for that optimism as NASCAR Countdown continues from beautiful Phoenix International Raceway. Phoenix International Raceway, the jewel of the desert, where some fans are finding most unique perches for today's second-to-last race in the chase for the Sprint Cup. How'd you like to be up there watching the race?
Man, what a view.
A snake could get you up there.
He wouldn't get me.
31 minutes away from the green flag for today's penultimate race of the chase.
Ladies, gentlemen, and Harvick, start your engines!
That was funny.
That was yesterday. Kevin Harvick's crew chief Gil Martin getting the Nationwide Series race started. Harvick is a two-time Phoenix winner, and if he's going to have a realistic shot at claiming this cup, he and his team know they'd better find a way to gain some ground today on Hamlin and Johnson after losing precious points last Sunday in Texas, a point loss that could have been worse.
Four tires, track.
Getting on and off pit road so critical in these races when all these cars are so competitive.
Pretty much everything we just gained, we just lost. Time for a full green run, though.
Doesn't matter. You can't give up that much track position, Gil.
You have to be done with it at that moment. Whether it's a good decision in the end or it's a bad decision in the end, it can't affect your next decision.
Every decision is critical in this tight three-man race. Like the pivotal pit stop that kept the Harvick team within reach of the championship.
When we got that last caution, we went ahead, we pitted, it drugged the other 9 guys in behind us, and we were able to pick up 3 spots, which was a lot of championship points that we didn't leave on the table there.
With 2 races left and a championship on the line, emotions are high. That's nothing out of the ordinary for the 29 team.
Tired of listening to your excuses, Richard.
Damn it. Drive the car, man.
Having your car as fast as it'll go.
It's Rhino Racing. We've got the thickest skin in the garage. There's not many people in there that are going to handle him the way we do. We're not afraid to talk to him. He's not afraid to talk to us. He's very passionate about what he does.
Ain't gonna freaking cut it.
It's the heat of the moment. In the end, we're all trying to do the same thing, and you kind of got to appreciate his desire. He has that much desire to want to win.
And you've got to be tough to be on this deal for a lot of reasons.
In case you hadn't noticed, those are the guys we're racing in the championship.
Yeah, he can be a little abrasive sometimes, but he's better for it. If he tries to hold all that in and keep it built up inside of him, he generally is not as good on the racetrack.
You can't make rookie mistakes. Look like a bunch of buffoons.
The team won't be holding anything back in Phoenix when winning is what they've done under the Arizona sun.
Phoenix, I'm looking forward to that because it's a crapshoot. Anything can happen. To me, it's a little Talladega. We've got 2 chances on 2 tracks that are very good for us, and we need to come away from there with a win if we're going to have a shot at winning this championship.
There's another team that's thinking the same thing and liking their chances just as much.
I mean, you couldn't ask for more drama than 3 different teams to be this close together with 2 races to go. I mean, it's everything that they hope the chase would be for.
Don't get me wrong, the 48 bunch, 4 championships in a row, you can't take anything away from them. They're very strong. It's a very strong organization, but it's definitely time for somebody different at the top.
Building morale means mixing pleasure with business. And there's no more fun-loving bunch than the 29 crew.
What's the grand prize? $25. $25, or if I kick his butt. I'm sorry, when I kick his butt.
They're so loose already. Big Mike, that's kind of our ringleader, he keeps everybody loose.
Come on, Grandma, go.
It keeps our camaraderie good because we will go bag groceries and they'll start racing bagging groceries.
Being loose doesn't mean losing is okay. Once the green flag drops in Phoenix, the fun stops and the work gets underway.
You know, just keep each other sharp. We have a lot of fun together. We work well together. Things will fall the way they fall. There's no pressure on us. Pressure's on everybody else.
And guys, right now, of course, the crew enjoying watching the feature here about the 29 crew. I do want to ask you about 2 numbers, Kevin, 59 and 29. 59, obviously, the number of points you are behind the leader right now. 29, unfortunately, not just your car number this weekend. It's where you start this race, Kevin. Which number is a bigger impedance to your championship run at this point?
I don't think anything is going to impede us at this point. I think our car is running great. We've run great all year, and you know, our pit stall selection worked out really good this week. So right now we have a lot of confidence in what we're doing.
Did you guys practice any 2-tire stops yesterday to know your car can come from the back with that strategy?
Not really. You know, the only time you're going to do 2 tires is if it's obviously real early in a run. You know, when you start, you know, in this position, we've got a lot of experience back here, and we'll adjust our strategy to what we need as the race goes on. So it should be a good day for us.
All right, good luck, Kevin. It'll be fun to watch him, Alan, coming from 29th today.
David, thanks. Kevin Harvick has won twice at Phoenix in a Sprint Cup car. Though he doesn't have good numbers here lately. He scored only 2 top 10s in the last 6 Phoenix races. Hasn't led here in the last 6. He does need to do much better than that recent trend here today. After losing ground at Texas, is there a number of points you feel Harvick has to come away from here within to have a realistic shot at Homestead?
No, not really. He just has to outrun the rest of the competitors he's racing against. 11 and a 48 team. He's got to be in front of those guys, number one. But I see a Kevin Harvick right now today that is really confident. He's really excited about his race car. It's really fast in practice. I mean, he's not concerned about the competition. He just said he's got a great pit stall so they can get good, fast pit stops today. I see a guy who's going to throw everything at it and drive his brains out, run every lap like it's a qualifying lap. This is like Kevin Harvick I'm used to looking at.
I was talking to Kevin yesterday, and I'm always kidding Kevin, and he told me, and he's never said this to me, he says, I've got a great race car. He says that, you better watch out. And I've also talked to some of his guys who are real close to him this week, and Kevin has not been much of a peach this week. He's wound as tight as a banjo string. But if there's one guy in this field who can start 29th and flat go get him, it's Kevin Harvick. If I can pick one guy out of this group who's super focused, hyper focused on winning a championship, it's that cat right there.
All right, now we know we got the beauty and we got the brain. I'm going to be the nerd and throw the number out. Combination.
Yeah.
But I believe that Kevin needs to cut that point deficit in half, maybe get inside of 20, and I believe today is the day that he can do it. Even though he is starting 29th, he was the best, had the fastest car out of our 3 chasers, and is not afraid to use that front bumper to get up through traffic. Very confident, could cut that in half today.
And for whatever reason, Alan, this team always, if they get in the back, they always end up in the front when it's done at the end of the day. We've seen it all year long.
Well, Gil Martin waiting with his team. Kevin Harvick getting ready to go today here in Phoenix and see if they can cut down to within that 20 points of the lead going to Homestead. What to watch for in today's second-to-last race of the chase when NASCAR Countdown returns to Phoenix International Raceway.
Let's go racing. All right, ready to go.
A whole lot of love. I don't think that's what was happening on the Texas backstretch last Sunday, but it sure was the moment that got a lot of talk, given the sometimes rugged nature of the races here at Phoenix. We can only hope for more of the same today. All right, drivers are going to have to go fast if they're going to succeed at Phoenix today, but part of going fast on this mile track is stopping all race long. As we go to Tim Brewer in our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim, the data says this place is kind of tough on brakes.
Alan is very tough on brakes because like right here, folks, you're running 165 mile an hour getting into the corners. You're going to break it down over 60 miles an hour. What makes it really tough, this 4.3 seconds, that's 28% of your lap time you're standing on a brake pedal. So what you have to do, you have to utilize the airflow to cool the sidewall of the tire, the brakes themselves. But here's where you're going to really get a lot of wear. As hard as you get on these brakes, you're going to wear the pads out. And that's when you got to take care of them to get to the end of the race here, Alan.
Got to have good stopping power to go fast. Tim, thank you very much for the data. Let's give you some things to watch for now. In the 500-kilometer go on this mile track, Rusty restarts and wrecks.
Oh, yeah, very, very concerned about the distance between the exit of turn 4 and to the start-finish line. We see a lot of guys trying to anticipate the restarts and making a mistake, jumping too quickly, and hitting a guy behind and causing big wrecks. Also, we've seen a majority of these wrecks, for whatever reason, off the exit of turn 4. A lot of wrecks there, too, and the restarts. I'll be looking at this all day long. I do expect it to happen again today.
That's a mess there. Big Brad, watch your blind spot.
Yeah, as the sun starts to set, it's going down into 1 and 2. You just cannot see. So drivers have to really work on hitting their marks early. There are cones that stick out of the fence down in turn 1. You have to be able to identify those and almost drive by feel as you get through the corner when the sun's setting. Also, in 3 and 4, as you go into 3, there's a quick blind spot that the spotters have a difficult time seeing for about a second. So you got to really know who's on the outside, or more importantly, who's on the inside.
And Ray, we'll call this two-tire or not two-tire.
That's right, Alan. Even though we talk about this as a short track, those cars like fresh air on the nose. So late in the race, it's going to come down to you want 2 tires, 4 tires, or no tires to get that clean air so that you can check out. Late in the race, it always comes down to some kind of a pit decision. Not a lot of fun to be on that box leading this race.
That was Kyle Busch, who was leading, coming to a green-white checker in April. Wound up finishing 8th after the 4-tire stop. Let's hear for the man who'll lead this field to the green. Dr. Jerry Punch is with Carl Edwards.
Alan, it has been a while since Carl's gone to victory lane in a Cup car, but here's the good news for you Carl Edwards fans. He's won everything he's entered this weekend. Practice, qualifying, happy hour, nationwide race, and now the question is, what's the key to you being able to snap that winless streak today, Carl?
That's a really good question, actually. I think the key for us is to just have confidence. You know, when you get on a long losing streak like that, you don't want to get too excited when you've got something good going. So for us, it's about having confidence, and I think yesterday that nationwide race helped me. That's one of the best performances I've had in my career. Our Aflac Fusion is fast, and hopefully we just have a little bit of fun, enjoy the speed that we have, and hopefully it's fast enough to win. And I got to say hi to Kate and Annie. I love you guys. I miss you, and just ready to go have some fun.
Hey, good luck today.
Thank you.
Alan, he wants to finish today with his patented somersault at the start-finish line.
You know, Doc, what old BP used to say, the guy that has the most fun is the guy that wins the race.
Every time.
So it'll be interesting to see as we wrap up countdown of our two main storylines of the day, the 43 drivers trying to have the most fun and win the race, and how the three drivers in this championship are going to sort out here after 500 kilometers, 312 laps on this mile track. Going to be a lot of fun.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I can't wait to watch because, like I said earlier, this is a big short track. And on these short tracks, it's a lot of action and a lot of wrecks.
Chase race number 9 is about to begin in Phoenix, Arizona. The close three-way fight for the NASCAR Sprint Cup has moved to the desert Southwest. ESPN welcomes you to the Kobalt Tools 500 from the Phoenix International Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. 312 laps around this mile track, a very competitive track it is. We'll have close quarters racing, lots of rubbing and bumping today, big pit strategy, and of course a lot at stake. 43 drivers trying to win the race, 3 trying to get closer to clinching the cup. Let's go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Please rise and remove your hats as Luke Air Force Base Color Honor Guard present our nation's colors. Please welcome Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers as he offers today's invocation.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for once again allowing us to join you here at our beloved Phoenix International Raceway for the NASCAR spectacle of today. We thank you for peace and confidence in our lives. We all know that fear builds walls instead of bridges, but with your help we can face tomorrow with great confidence. Father, we trust you for safe racing today. These things we thank you for in your name, and everyone said, Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please wave your American flag while Dr. Jesse McGuire performs our national anthem.
Couldn't ask for better weather today, and with respect to individual fans' driver preferences, couldn't ask for a better championship through 8 races. Chapter 9 begins when the engines fire in Phoenix next.
Kobalt Tools
Dayton's 500 at Phoenix is brought to you by Kobalt. Tough, rugged, Delta-Last, guaranteed. Kobalt is the next generation of tough tools, sold exclusively at Lowe's. And Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
The Phoenix International Raceway and the desert Southwest, a fun setting for a Wild West showdown in the chase for the Sprint Cup. The thousands filing into the grandstands, getting ready for what they usually see here. Competition tough as a cactus needle on this mile track. But they're also seeing something they're not used to, a new leading man in the late stages of the championship.
It's the tightest chase in history. The pressure has never been greater. 3 drivers, 2 races, 1 cup. From the beginning, Denny Hamlin has had a plan. And in Texas, he dropped the hammer.
Denny Hamlin is coming in a big hurry.
With an aggressive ride that shifted momentum.
That's the way to win it, baby. Hell yeah!
Putting him right where he wants to be. Now, with a team in turmoil,
The 24 crew is going to start pitting the 48 car.
Jimmy Johnson finds himself on the ropes.
Guys, I need you, and they're so bad. 10-4, man. 10-4. We know, man. We know.
The road leads to Phoenix, but who will rise under the pressure? Will the points leader respond when suddenly he's the one being chased? Will the reigning champion drive his way out of uncharted territory at a track he dominates? Or will Kevin Harvick step up and steal the lead? With just 2 races left, it all comes down to a simple choice. Do you feel pressure, or do you apply it?
They're going to have to beat us now. It's on.
Which driver and team will rise to the occasion today, and will someone wilt under that pressure in the second-to-last race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup at Phoenix International Raceway? Almost set to go. We go to pit road and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Al. You know, for points leader Denny Hamlin, the idea today is simply avoid disaster in the desert, both on and off the racetrack. Folks, this has already become an in-your-face chase. And today, with the teammates of Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson pitting on either side of the 11 car, this could become an in-your-space chase, which could be problems for Denny Hamlin. Jamie Little.
Following the pit crew swap last week, Jack Knaus sat his 48 guys down and basically said, hey guys, I've been there. I know what it's like. It's painful. He was a tire changer and was benched once before, but he said this is a performance-based industry and we need to step up and perform. Jack Knaus has a 24 going over the wall today. Alan?
Jamie, thanks. Those drivers in the championship story, the main headline as we get set to go racing today in Phoenix.
Race fans, please welcome Lowe's Regional Vice President Steve Schultz, along with the Lowe's store managers Chuck Andrews and Kevin Wood, as they deliver the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Last Sunday we had a fight, a bench pit crew, and a change of championship leaders to find out what else could possibly happen in this chase and in this race. Let's go upstairs to Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie. Gentlemen.
And the fight wasn't up here in the booth either. Hey, great to have everybody along again. Thanks, Alan. And as we get ready for this next to last round of the chase, let's reset the points for you and where they are starting, because obviously this is really important. We're either in the middle or towards the back of the field with the 3 chase contenders as we come back topside. Dale Jarrett, as a driver, how do you make the approach to this event?
Well, I think these drivers know exactly what they're facing today, and obviously with less than stellar qualifying performances, they've made their task a little bit more difficult here today. They know that this is nothing more than a high-speed, short-track racing where there's going to be a lot of beating and banging, not a lot of grip to be found out there, but I think the main thing they're going to have to be is patiently aggressive, except for one. I think Kevin Harvick has the car that he's ready to move people out of the way and go to the front today.
Well, another way to get them up front will be a little bit of strategy on pit road. We saw yesterday in the nationwide race that some cars took 2 tires and did pretty well with it, at least through half a run. So we might see some of that today. And, you know, it's just going to be one of those days that pit road's going to be very important because every position counts, and it's so competitive down there. We're talking about tenths of a second.
Well, let's talk about the pressure now on the new 48 pit crew that used to be the old 24 pit crew.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure how this is going to work. You know, that we saw last week that it was a good short-term fix, and they did switch pit crews. We'll see how it works today. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that team today to perform. There'll be a lot of eyes on them.
Well, the other thing we're going to keep eyes on is pit selection because Denny Hamlin is boxed in.
Well, Mike Ford kind of upped the game last week by picking right in front of the 48 and then talking about it afterwards. This weekend, he's found himself kind of boxed in here. He has a Hendrick Motorsports car pitted in front, a Richard Childress Racing car right behind. Pit road is definitely going to be interesting today.
And that Richard Childress Racing car just happens to belong to our in-race reporter, Jeff Burton. So let's find out about some of that strategy. Let's talk to him, DJ.
Hey, Jeff, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
And I got you.
Hey, Jeff, we were just talking and couldn't help but notice. We'll get right to it. Your team's pit selection right behind the 11.
Well, I mean, we picked 40th, and we didn't have a lot of choices, but we picked this week the same way we pick every week, and that was where we thought it gave us the best chance to get in and out pit road really well. And, there's no ulterior motive other than just being where we think is their best opportunity.
All right, Jeff, our next question is our mailbag question. It comes from LC in Paris, Texas. How much of your focus during the race will be on helping Kevin Harvick, and really, what can you do to help?
Honestly, there's not a whole lot we can do. I mean, the way teammates work is that we work really hard together, and, up until the race, and we try to be respectful of each other in the race. And it's not a whole lot, at this point we can do. And Kevin's plenty capable. He doesn't need a whole lot of help from me.
Hey, Jeff, is this racetrack as slick as what it looked like in practice yesterday?
A lot of people were having trouble with rear grip. That's really the big struggle this week for everybody is rear grip. And as you know, Dale, you can pick that rear grip, but then you don't roll the middle good at all, and then you end up getting slow like that. So you almost have to err on the side of being loose here because if you don't roll the middle, you get yourself in trouble.
All right, Jeff, thanks for talking with us. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later on.
Thank you.
Well, you heard Jeff say no ulterior motives, but Robin Pemberton had his antenna up in the drivers' meeting. The head of the meeting said, let's play things out naturally, guys, on the track, and that includes pit road. Well, we'll see how it happens. Our over-the-wall reporter today is Mitch Lash. He is the jack man for the number 19 of Elliott Sadler. There you are, Mitch, and hey, you guys be safe down there and have a great race. And as we get ready to roll the cars out onto the grid, from the grid onto the track, look what's leading the way. It is the Black Beauty from the upcoming film, The Green Hornet. It's coming to theaters January 14th, 2011. Great crowd on hand here at Phoenix International Raceway. Cars on the pace lap. Starting grid coming across the top of your screen. No cars going to the rear. 3 did not make the field. Jason Leffler, Joe Nemechek, Michael McDowell. Let's get the latest on the 29. Right after first, we give you the onboards. And we've got Kurt Busch with the Miller Lite car. Then Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And, of course, all 3 of our chase contenders have onboard cameras. Now let's bring in Vince Welch.
Marty, so much attention has been focused on the battles and the games between the 11 and the 48 that the 29 has gone at times under the radar. That's just fine with Kevin Harvick and crew chief Gil Martin. They know there's a lot of fight left in this team. Despite starting 29th today, they've been very happy with their race car, and Gil Martin told me this morning, if you're good enough to win, you're good enough to come from 29th. Dave Burns?
Carl Edwards' record here at Phoenix, outstanding. But that's in the Nationwide Series. Yesterday, he picked up his 4th win in Nationwide Series competition here at Phoenix. He needs to turn that into Cup success here today. That's because he's 4th in the championship right now. Leads the also chased category. But the 3 guys behind him within 22 points. It's also been 70 races since he last won. He's coming up on that 2-year anniversary since he took the checkers at Homestead in 2008. He's got a fast car, and he starts first, Marty. That's a good place to begin the day.
All right, thanks, guys. And as we mentioned, this is the Kobalt 500, but that's 500 kilometers, so it equates to 312 miles.
Yeah, and the one thing that we hear drivers talk about, the lack of banking here. But as you watch this race, you're going to see them down on the apron with at least their left side tires, so they may not need that. They're just looking for grip wherever they can find it.
So on this beautiful, gorgeous day, the car's now just heading into turn number 3. And you can see this beautiful crowd. I mean, this is a huge turnout today. The traffic jam was backed up for miles coming across the bridge with all 4 lanes. But everybody's here, and everybody's on their feet as we are getting ready to go racing in the next to last race in the 2010 season. Carl Edwards brings him down. The pace car is pulled off. And chase race number 9 in the 2010 Sprint Cup is green. Carl Edwards is picking up right where he left off yesterday in the nationwide race. He's out in front. Across the stripe for the first time, it's Edwards, Kurt Busch, Allmendinger, Biffle, Ruderman, McMurray, Kyle Busch. There's Jimmy Johnson further back in the field. Clint Boyer on the high side in the 33.
Yeah, I see Jimmy Johnson not wasting any time, trying to make already trouble.
71 of Brendan Gaughan is into the wall here in lap number 2. He's the 8th.
I think the right front went.
Well, he pounded that wall. I don't know why a right front tire would go down this early unless they had something on the suspension rubbing.
Yeah, you'd think maybe a sway bar adjustment or something there, Andy, that gets into that.
That's a possibility for sure. That's too bad for Brendan. They don't even get started here, and he's killed that car.
Let's go into the garage, right?
Brendan finished 27th yesterday in the nationwide race. Watch at the very back end, top of your screen.
Definitely right front down. That thing went straight in the wall.
So a tough break for Brendan. He's the 8th different driver in that 71 machine this year. And so as he makes his way back towards pit road, and you saw a brake pad coming off there, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, get this race restarted with Carl Edwards out in front. An early caution here at the Kobalt Tools 500. Brendan Gaughan and a big hit in the owner points. They're the 35th and last car guaranteed a spot next year. They had a 114-point lead coming in, but right now that will be in serious jeopardy. Let's also point out the guys that have moved up the most. One of those cars is Dale Earnhardt Jr. He has picked up 4 spots in the 1 green flag lap we had. He's up to 27th. And this weekend, Junior's driving a special fan design paint scheme on the 88. Almost 10,000 fans submitted designs as part of Diet Mountain Dew's Paint the 88 program. Dale Jr. picked Jason Carino's paint scheme as the winner. And to learn more, go to facebook.com/Mountain Dew.
I love Diet Mountain Dew, and that is a beautiful paint scheme. Jason did a good job of that.
Congratulations to Jason. All right, let's check in on Denny Hamlin's situation. He is in the 14th position right now, and listen to the radio.
Hey, Joey, if you get a spot where you can let me in, I'd appreciate it if the opportunity comes about. Yeah, man, I got you. Yeah, I mean, I started the outside there last time. It was junk, but I don't think my kids took off that good either. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
And, of course, the reference there is to teammate Joey Logano, who's right alongside.
Yeah, it's nice to have that option to be able to have that teammate to help you out if possibly can, because high side of this racetrack is very slick. Hard to make any time on the outside right now.
Coach looking on pit road from the 11 camp right now. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, it will be Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, A.J. Allmendinger, Greg Biffle, and Jamie McMurray in your top 5. You can see from high above, Rattlesnake Hill, the pace car is pulled down. Carl has selected the inside line. That first line is where you get the go signal. Here we go. We're back to green.
These guys get going green. I hope they all were able to dodge that debris. We saw a lot of brake parts as these guys were having to slow down even under caution. As we see Kurt Busch going to take the lead away from Carl Edwards now.
Kurt with a good restart on the high side, took advantage, and now he is in the lead. In turn 3, you see a couple of cars sliding around, breaking into the wall. 33, Clint Boyer could be one of those. Looking for some damage on that car. Also, looked like David Reagan may have had a little bit in that.
Yeah, I think I saw some damage on the left front of the 33 car, Clint Boyer's.
Side by side, A.J. Allmendinger, Greg Biffle there. And all of a sudden, Kurt Busch has found some new life, and he is pulling away. Here comes Dinger underneath.
Be extremely careful down the inside, entering these corners. You're side by side. It's an arrow loose situation, and you just don't have the opportunity to catch it. that car being so close to you.
Well, did you see the way Allmendinger had to jerk on the steering wheel to keep from going into the 16? Gathered it up nicely.
These cars rely heavily on that right side for side force, and that's as much of important aerodynamic thing as down force. So that's what happens when they get side by side. You lose a lot of that.
And Greg Biffle's lost 2 spots because you saw Ruderman sneak under him as well. All right, let's go back and show you the contact on the wall.
These cars probably getting stacked up going down into 3. Yeah, contact there from like Sam Hornish got into the 33 of Clint Boyer. David Reagan just trying to save his.
Now this is another way you lose side force.
Okay, what we saw right there was the 6 actually got into the right rear of the 77, and that created his contact.
Back to the race for the lead because Carl Edwards has closed that gap, and here we go. It's a drag race down the front stretch here early. Kurt Busch still leads that lap. He's been our second leader here. His 10 laps are in the book.
A little bit of what we saw out of Carl Edwards yesterday in the nationwide race for about 2 or 3 laps after a restart. He might not have been the best car then. Boy, once he got it going, unbeatable.
This is a big race for the 2. I mean, the Blue Deuce has been struggling most of the chase, and here they are finally up front. A lot of that they were experimenting. We found out with the setup different at Texas. It didn't work, as we found out.
I talked to Steve Addington. He said they were trying something they learned at a tire test at Charlotte. That worked real well, but it didn't work very well at Texas, he said.
Let's move back a little bit further. Check in on one of the chase contenders. There's Jimmy Johnson. He has moved up to the 13th position.
Yeah, I had some conversation with Jimmy Johnson. They've had to go away from their setup that has been working here for a number of years. He said this racetrack has lost more grip, and they had to do some things differently after yesterday's practices to try to make this car better. They felt like they had gone in a really good direction, though.
Just to let you know, Kevin Harvick is up into the 21st position. He's picked up a total of 8 spots. Denny Hamlin is running 9th. Up front, there is Kurt Busch, followed by Edwards, Allmendinger, Ruderman, and McMurray.
Denny Hamlin, if you didn't think that he wasn't going to be aggressive here and try to get up towards the front, he's already moved himself into the top 10 in a short amount of time.
Did it by lap number 9. Let's get an update. Doc?
Yeah, guys, 17th to 9th in 7 laps for Denny Hamlin. How's that for your points leader taking it easy? Mike Ford told me in the final minutes of happy hour yesterday, they made a very minor tweak on this 11 car, and it just took off, and Denny loved it. He said, don't touch a thing. This morning they were excited about what the day may bring, and we're already seeing a preview of what this 11 car might have here today.
You know what I worry about when one minor tweak makes a big difference? I worry it's going to go the other way just as easy.
Yeah, and I think what we saw them make the change on at the end of practice was moving some lead around in that 11 car. So, yeah, sometimes it's only a minor adjustment like that. But, Andy, that's a little bit of a risk because you can't change that back today.
No, not the weight distribution. You can change other things. You can change wedge and spring rubbers and all that, but you can't change that weight distribution front to rear. Not easily.
I'll show you the Kobalt Championship tracker at this moment, and there is the top 3 in points and where they're running. 9th, 12th, and Harvick is now up to 19th. That car you guys were bragging about is moving forward. He has now picked up 10 spots.
Yeah, we could see those 3 drivers definitely all in the top 5 battling this thing amongst themselves, not only for championship points, but for the win here today.
There he goes around Martin Truex, so move him up into the 8th spot.
Kevin Harvick just made a pass on Joey Logano coming off turn 4, so he's still gaining positions, 11 now so far.
There's Kurt, still the race leader. We'll let everybody cycle through, and we'll catch up with the 29. And there he is putting the pressure on the 9 car of Eric Almirola. And Harvick wasting absolutely no time.
Yeah, this is where they worked on their car Friday during practice, was getting that drive off better, and you see the benefits of making a good change right there.
You can see he's biggest mover of the race, 11 spots. Denny Hamlin up 9, as is Jimmy Johnson. Pablo Montoya, Dale Earnhardt Jr. also in that mix. Let's get an update from pit road. Vince.
Well, crew chief Gil Martin told me this morning they worked the entire weekend on forward bite. Getting through the corner here and being able to get that forward bite and drive off the corner is the key to success. And they worked on it all weekend long. He said, I'm not worried about starting 29th. That's how good our race car is. They know that he's going to have to pass a lot of cars, but these guys were so confident that the way their car handled in practice, they were going to be good enough to get to the front and have a car that could win the race today. We got a lot of laps to go before we get to that point, of course, but I've been a long time since I've seen a crew this confident of the kind of car that they had starting as far back as they were.
He continues his drive towards the front. Up front, it's Kurt Busch leading Carl Edwards. Kurt won this race back in April of '05, but his average finish in the 9 races since has been 15th. Maybe that's changing today. That's the race lead here at the Kobalt Tools 500 after 25 laps. And make sure to go to Goodyear.com to check out Goodyear Support Our Troops program. There you can send a thank you message from a NASCAR driver. Enter for a chance to win a 2011 Ford Taurus or other great prizes. Right now, Kurt Busch has led 19 laps. Carl Edwards has led 6. They are running first and second right now. And here comes Denny Hamlin making tracks, and he has now pushed his way into the top 6 as he gets past Kyle Busch. That's the fastest car on the track right now. And let's go back, because during the commercial break, the 29, well, if you look at the right side of the car, here's what happened.
It's coming off of turn 2. I don't know. Probably not much damage, but what do you think?
Not good.
Yeah.
Remember, it happened last week at Texas, which hurt him in the points. And now we've got a battle for the lead again, side by side. Edwards wants to take it away from Kurt Busch down into 1. And he does.
I think this is what a lot of people in the garage area were looking at, that this 99 car and Carl Edwards are going to be the guys to beat. You're going to try to go to victory lane today. You're going to have to go through or around him.
Well, and he has been, as the guys pointed out in the pre-race, he's been fastest in every practice. He gets the pole, and then he goes out and wins the nationwide race. And look at this car on the move. Here comes Denny around Rudeman. He's into the top 5.
Looks like you need double numbers on the side of your car today to be good at this place.
99, 11, 00.
They're all up there. Boy, look at him accelerate off that corner. Speaking of another double number. Got 3 of them there. Well, we got a lot of double numbers. Now we're going to get double tripped up there.
Yeah, Andy was talking about how cool this car looks. Yeah, it looks fast, and it is fast. It is Junior be really good in practice yesterday.
Can't get any lower to the racetrack than that view right there as you go on board with Junior. He is up to the 20th position right now. Gordon right behind him. And then the 12 of Brad Keselowski.
Right there, how difficult it is. He was up beside Casey Mears in that 13 car, but just didn't have quite the drive off. You see him slipping again, and Gordon's going to try to take the spot away.
Jeff side by side with him, down into the corner, and he's going to take it easily. Let's get an update on Jeff Gordon. Dave?
It was about the middle of final practice. Crew Chief Steve Letarte told me that they really found their groove in this 24 yesterday. And since the start of the race, just a little bit tight in the middle, a little bit loose off. But as Steve also told me this morning, that's about what you fight all the time here at Phoenix. Whoa, that doesn't look good.
Little tire smoke there coming off the 24. And a word now that the 18 of Kyle Busch may have had some contact with the wall. Let's go back and take a look. Yeah, right there.
Looks like he got it with both front and rear.
From the onboard.
Trying to keep pace with Denny Hamlin.
And you talked the other day, I think our practice or qualifying show, about they'd moved that wall out 12 feet. So
he needed another
still need a little bit more. But no matter how much you move it, you're always going to use up all of that space that they give you, Doc.
Yeah, it's amazing, DJ, how quickly these chassis are now giving up here today. I know the asphalt's worn out due to be repaved here, but Kyle said like 10 laps ago, I cannot roll the center. 5 laps ago, he said, I've now lost the front tires. I have no grip. I can't even get the car to turn, as evidenced by that contact a moment ago.
Yeah, just looking at lap times right here, the fastest lap time was Kurt Busch, 27.5 seconds. They're running over 29 seconds now, about 29:20.
And Doc, to put a period on the repaving story you mentioned, that is scheduled, once it's approved, for right after the February race next year.
Now, when you see this track paved, it won't lose near that much speed over the course of the run for quite a few years.
It hasn't lost too much speed for Denny Hamlin. He is solidly in the 5th spot now. He's pulled 1.3 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch. And you can see he's got his sights set on Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, Denny's car now. Talk about rolling the center. This is a car that rolls the center really well.
Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, that's 11th and 12th. Now, Tony has got to be a little shook up. He was in a sprint car race in Las Cruces, New Mexico last night in Southern New Mexico Speedway, and he actually rolled the thing. He wasn't seriously hurt at all, but still don't like doing that.
Yeah, he's probably done it quite a few times, though. He's probably used to it.
I think he says it's pretty minor whenever you get into rating flips.
Well, Stewart is in the 11th spot, Jimmy Johnson in 12th. And there you see the top 5 here at the Kobalt Tools 500 after knocking down 34, now 35 of 312 laps. Carl Edwards, his last win almost 2 years ago at Homestead. Does he get it today? Welcome back to the Kobalt Tools 500 here at Phoenix. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And wow, Denny Hamlin's on the move in the commercial break. He got around Jamie McMurray. He just whips around the 43 A.J. Allmendinger. He is now up to 3rd, guys.
Yeah, and even back in traffic, he is the fastest car on the racetrack consistently, lap after lap.
He is 2.2 seconds behind race leader Carl Edwards. Kurt Busch is running 2nd. Hamlin, Allmendinger, McMurray round out your top 5. Jimmy Johnson, we can tell you, has dropped back to 13th. Kevin Harvick is now up to 15th. That gives you a complete picture of what's been happening so far. So far, Brendan Gaughan, the only car out of this race after the first lap crash into the wall. And we have 2 cars, 1 lap down. Landon Castle and Terry Labonte, who has a birthday coming up next Tuesday. How about our Gillette Pro Glide profile? And, well, you better believe he's turned skeptics into believers. Here at Phoenix, started 29th, currently 15th, but that's been his trademark all year.
I wasn't skeptic. I thought he was going to be up front. And he's moving.
Kevin's average start in the chase, 26th. His average finish has been 6th. Let's move a little bit farther forward because there you can see Ryan Newman, who's still waiting word if wife Chrissy's going to have a baby. And then you've got Jimmy Johnson just 2 cars behind, running in the 13th position. Let's get an update from Jamie Little.
Well, this morning I talked to his crew chief, Chad Canals, of course, talking about the 48 car. And he must have mentioned to me about 5 different times their lack of speed in happy hour. But he was pretty confident in their changes this morning that that would help. Yes, it's helped so far today, but now Jimmy's saying he's a little free in, snug in the center, a little free off. He's fallen off on his lap times just a little bit, and you see him get loose just a tick. Chad Canals telling him, come on, buddy, stay in there, get your rhythm back.
And there you see just how close Kevin Harvick is to close up on him, because Kevin now is getting around Regan Smith for 14th position, and Johnson is in 13th.
I used to say that all the time as a crew chief, you know, jump in there and get your rhythm back. Did it really help? Does it do any good?
Yeah, you listen to it, but there's that problem that we talk about, Andy, as a crew chief, of how hard it is to fix. Loose in, tighten the center, loose off as you see the back end kicked out there.
Well, he's really loose off. We saw that shot.
Psychologically, if you're Jimmy and you look in the mirror and you see the 29, what are you thinking?
Well, if you see him do that right there, you're not too worried.
Yeah, got to pick it up. I think the one thing you're looking at there, too, and more than anything else, I'm sure that he's seen the 11 car, who at one time right before this restart was right in front of him, and knows he can look on the board as you go around and see he's moved up to 3rd.
Yeah, he'd be more worried about the 11 and what he's doing so far.
So Kevin Harvick's really searching around on this racetrack. He's trying to see if he can make this little higher groove work down in turns 1 and 2.
He's way up there.
Well, we've gone about 41 laps now under green. As they continue that, let's check in back up front, because Carl Edwards has now opened up a 1.3-second lead over Kurt Busch. Let's check in with Dave Burns.
And as DJ knows, when you're leading the race, you're the fastest, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with your race car. Well, maybe a few things that Carl wants Bob Osborne to know about it. Listen.
Yeah, I think that little pause down here, right there, I think we've kind of fixed that. We'll be a lot better. Give it a little more drive off. We're still superior in the center of 3 and 4. So if we tighten it up there a little bit, it might be worthwhile. You know, it might be a reasonable sacrifice.
DJ, when you were smoking the field, did you give that much information to your crew chief?
You know, race drivers are never satisfied. I'm pretty sure that our crew chiefs could say that they very seldom do they ever hear their drivers say, yeah, we don't need to do anything to this. This thing's perfect. But, yeah, even when you're leading the race, you're looking, knowing, I'm sure they've told him that 11 car's coming, going to have to do a little something to it. That was great information by Carl Edwards.
And Carl, as you saw him put Travis Quapple a lap down, that means 37 cars on the lead lap, and there's Blaney about to go to make it 36. The Kobalt Tools 500. Carl Edwards up front.
On the green, 55 laps into the race, the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. The 24 team currently in the lead, but you can help determine the standings. Vote from your AT&T phone by texting the car number to 2258 for the pit crew you think is the fastest and most valuable. Watching Jimmy Johnson try and take a spot away from Greg Biffle. This would be 12th place. Kevin Harvick trailing right behind in this mix for positions. Close call, close moment for Jimmy Johnson just a second ago. Watch this. David Ruderman up on the top side of the racetrack.
Oh, Greg Biffle gets into him a little bit, and Jimmy's closing pretty quickly. Gets up on the wheel, gets up on the brakes. No harm, no foul. They move on.
So again, Johnson racing here for 12th position with Greg Biffle after starting the race a little farther back in 21st spot. Kevin Harvick also moving up in the 29 car, started 29th, Rusty. He's 14th.
Yeah, he got a little right rear quarter panel damage early in the race, not affecting his car whatsoever, it looks like, but he has got a fast car. He said he had a fast car before the race. It looked good in practice yesterday, and both of these guys, the 48 and the 29 are advancing herself through the field, although the best guy so far has been Denny Hamlin. But both these guys are looking good right now.
And by the way, not that many laps away from green flag pit stops, maybe 5 or so if we continue under the green.
Yeah, and you know, this pit road is slick. It is tricky to get in, and you will probably see the guys under green put on 4 tires. We've got some interesting races going on there between non-chasers, Jamie McMurray and A.J. Allmendinger. Another guy that's moving up through the field, non-chaser, Martin Truex up in the 5th spot.
And McMurray taking 6th position away there from Allmendinger as the 1 car continues to move forward in the field.
This guy right here, Tony Stewart in the 14 car, I've been looking at his lap times, lap after lap, guys. He's one of the fastest cars in the field right now. This thing is flat flying, and he's putting these guys away lap after lap. I keep an eye on Stewart. This is his style of racetrack.
20th to 7th in the opening run. Now our NASCAR countdown, Tim Brewer showed us some data on how much the brakes get used on this mile track. And Tim, we're already seeing some signs. Some people, got trouble. Caution out, Brad Keselowski. Didn't Andy just mention a minute ago how this 12 car had been moving up through the field? And now he has got some troubles. Long green run.
Yeah,
Suspect the right front.
Done a good job of getting himself up in the the mid-20s, was moving right along there, and it looks like he may have obviously cut something down on the right side. Can't quite tell if it's right front or right rear, but boy, he has pounded the wall. Looks like his day may be done.
Right front getting in.
Blow right front, he says.
And Alan, as you said, we were on a long green flag run, getting ready for pit stops. That's when we talk about that brake heat, like Tim Brewer talks about, keeping those brakes cool. Sometimes it overheats the inside B of that tire and lets the air out.
Yeah.
So second caution of this race is out at lap number 59. Looking from Dale Jr.'s car at Brad Keselowski.
Tilting off down here into turn 1, really boogieing, and boom, just blows that right front tire. No warning, no anything, and that's a hard lick.
Yeah, it's about 165 miles an hour getting at that corner, pushing 170, and just blows that right front, clobbers that wall. Thank gosh for the soft wall.
Yes, sir. That would have been a bad lick if not.
First pit stops of the day for the race leaders. Here they come. 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, Vince.
There's Kurt Busch, a little bit tight in the center and tight when he picks up the gas. They're going to make a 4-tire change, air pressure adjustment. Also going to go up 3/4 around on the track bar. Knock.
18 car, Kyle Busch, chassis adjustment, 4 tires and air pressure, lost the front end. The car would not turn in the middle. 11 car, Denny Hamlin, air pressure change in the right side, stops him short in the pit so they can get out. Dave.
Carl Edwards gets off of pit road with a 4-tire change, followed by Hamlin. They were not the first 2 off of pit road. That belongs to Casey Kane, who made a 2-tire stop, it looks like, or maybe not, Alan.
Kane picking up 23 positions on the pit lane, and a follow-up on exactly what the 83 team did, but the data saying nothing but fuel for the 83. Maybe missed his pit stall. That's probably an even more likely stop. We'll follow up on that when we come back to Phoenix.
This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Donovan McNabb gets a second chance against his old team as the Redskins take on Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles-Redskins, ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown. That's served up by Applebee's. Under our second caution here, and Alan Beswick, you were right on there, buddy. It was a missed stop for the 83, and Casey Kane has not only come back once, he has come back twice and lost a lap now, as he is in 33rd at this moment. The free pass goes to the 55 of Mike Bliss, so he'll get back on the lead lap. And let's talk about the Fast 5 on pit stop, see how that 48-24 swap's working out.
Well, if you'll see on this top 5 off pit road, Kevin Harvick had the fastest, but look at Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon within 0.2 of a second, those two crews, and they make the Fast 5. Denny Hamlin at 13.4. Denny had the track position and comes out second.
Yeah, it didn't hurt him by them being. That's not their norm. Hard to believe we're saying 13.4 is not the norm, but they do such an excellent job.
Denny Hamlin's going to restart in second position. Jimmy Johnson 11th. Kevin Harvick will be right alongside in 12th when we go back to green flag racing. As we move back further, there is Jeff Gordon. You saw his pit time. Let's get an update from what happened on pit road. Dave?
And Marty, the guys told me today, watch what we do today because we are motivated. On that pit stop, they were very comparable as we saw on the graphic, but they also got blocked in just a little bit by Joey Logano. And they said our stop was really good. We just got blocked in a little bit, so they're doing their job so far.
And let's leaves drop on the 48 radio.
Earl, you got any good jokes?
Man, you caught me off guard there. I'll be ready in a little bit.
Can you sing for us?
Can do that. What do you want to hear?
What's your favorite? You got to have a favorite go-to song.
Give me just a minute and I'll have it for you.
Oh, please don't play that. That's Earl Marvin, the spotter for Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to loosen up a little bit if they're going to try to win a championship.
There's the view, as you see from high above. The 48 and the 29, side by side as we get ready to go. You know, we talked about Jimmy and where he started, 21st. You know, he has 53 wins, right? Only 2 of those wins have come from outside the top 20. All right, we go back to green flag racing. Let's go full throttle with the Green Hornet.
Outside. Outside. Bottom of 3. 3 wide. Outside. Very good. Outside again. Right on the corner. Clear up. Still there. Still there. No pressure.
Well, as you can see, Denny Hamlin has picked up the race lead. He becomes our 4th different leader. Bobby Labonte led 2 laps during the caution period, and he is opening up the gap, and he's the first of the 3 contenders to pick up the 5 bonus points.
He sliced and diced his way up through the field, got himself in a position to make all of this happen, serving notice.
Started the race 17th. Jimmy Johnson, of course, started 21st. That was our reference to the number of wins that he has had outside the top 20 starting positions. He's got his work cut out for him because Hamlin has got that car on a rail right now. It's Kurt Busch right behind him in second, then Edwards, Truex, Kenseth. That's your top 5. And Brad Keselowski's been cleared out of the medical center. Let's talk to him, Vince.
He's had a couple of top 10s recently, but a tough day today. Blown tire, any indication before it went?
Yeah, just at the wrong time. It gave me an indication right at the end of the back straightaway. Just a real shame. You know, the guys at Penske Racing built me a nice brand new car to come here to Phoenix with, and got the boss's name on my suit, you know, representing Penske race cars and PenskeCars.com, and just unfortunate. We'll just have to watch back in the garage and cheer on my teammate Kurt Busch. Looks like he's running really good in his Miller Lite Dodge, and hopefully we can get a win for Penske Racing.
Marty?
And Brad will be looking to set a nationwide record next week. If he can finish in the top 5, 26 top 5 finishes would break the 25 mark set by Kyle Busch last year. Back to the action here. As you can see, some side-by-side action a little bit further back. Remember the 33 car, Clint Boyer? He had that little tussle earlier. David Reagan was involved. They are further back there, 27th, 26th, respectively. And they're trying to regroup and battle their way back.
Well, you can see they've done some work on that 33 as far as getting it patched back up. You see a lot of that bare bond and tape on the back of the car.
While all this goes on, we'll let you know as you see Jeff Burton getting a little side-by-side there with Elliott Sadler. No contact there. Up front, we can tell you that Jimmy Johnson has gotten around A.J. Allmendinger to move into the top 10 for the first time today. Moving a little further, there's Ryan Newman side by side with Kyle Busch. Tony Stewart right in front.
That is 6th, 7th, and 8th. We mentioned a little bit earlier, wife Chrissy could give birth at any time. Ron Hornaday is standing by. He did get a lap or two yesterday in happy hour. But right now, it's all Ryan behind the wheel. And, of course, the 500 veterans and current servicemen who are pictured on that beautiful 39 in salute of Veterans Day.
Yeah, and going in the right direction there. Nice pass. Of course, won the earlier race here this year.
Get the view from on board with Kyle.
That's what we were talking about earlier. The drivers get the left sides now on the apron, get their cars to turn, and gives them a straighter shot up off the corner. A lot of drive off from that point.
There's your race leader. Gives you some proximity on where they are in relationship to Denny Hamlin. He's opened up a 7/10 of a second lead over Kurt Busch. Edwards is just a little bit further back. Denny Hamlin, it's the 5th race he's led here in the chase. And guess what? It's been all in the last 5. Any reason why he's the points leader? If you take a look at the number 1 here at Phoenix International Raceway, you can see damage on the back deck. It looks like McMurray has hit the wall. We don't know exactly where. We were looking all over the tape room, but no actual visual of how he made that contact. And all of a sudden, way to go, tape. We just got the word that they have found it. Let's go back and show you exactly what happened.
It's coming off turn 2.
Right in front of the 48. Let's get his view.
Oh, man, that hurts.
Vince, give us more.
Well, and what's really disappointing is that they made 0 changes on their first stop. Jamie McMurray had really liked his car in that first stint, but after the pit stop, they made contact with the wall, as you saw. Let's get a rundown on the damage from the one.
I got a tire going down from the brush of the wall. Look at it next time by. Got knocked the spoiler down or something. I can't drive it.
There's the damage from Jamie McMurray, and we'll get more on that from Tim Brewer in the Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim?
Hey, guys, this is a straight line right here, the wall. This is the margin of error. You got about 2 fingers right here. So when you bounce off that wall and cave that sheet metal in, it rips the spoiler off. But look how the bracket is mounted to the car. It's welded in this area right here, but it's held by a 1/4-inch bolt. But still yet, it tore the bracket loose right here. And what they're going to have to do is affix the back of the spoiler back to the deck lid, probably putting some washers on it. But right here in this area, I'd say somebody's going to weld something right there or put a cap over here with a few rivets, get him back in action, because you got to have that rear spoiler to get around this racetrack. Marty?
Well, McMurray is back into the 29th position, and you can see he's dropping even more spots as cars continue to work their way around him. And he's in jeopardy of eventually going a lap down unless they get a yellow here. So a tough break for a man who started the season at Daytona so well. Capped it, of course, with Brickyard 400. He's had a big turnaround season. Not so good here today at Phoenix. Check in on the battle for second. It's not that tight right now. Kurt Busch has a 2/10 of a second lead over Carl Edwards. But a big day for Kurt, because the last few races in that Blue Deuce, as we mentioned, they have been struggling mightily. You can see the margin back from Denny Hamlin. That's 2 seconds to Kurt. Then 3rd place, Carl Edwards. Martin Truex Jr. running 4th, and Tony Stewart has moved up into the 5th spot. You want to talk about somebody on the move? Take a look at the 31 car. Started 40th. Jeff Burton is up to 17th.
We see him all the time on this graphic where he has gained like the most spots or close to the most spots in a race. I'm not sure if that's how good he races or how bad he qualifies that we see that a lot.
He's putting the pressure on Regan Smith right now. On the right side is the battle for 8th between Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, looks like they made some good adjustments on Jimmy Johnson's car. Got himself up into the top 10. Now taking that 8th spot away, Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, his car has come to life. I've watched this monitor in lap times, and he's had some of the fastest lap times on the racetrack lately.
Let's get an update on Jeff Burton. How about it, Doc?
You guys are laughing about how far back, or sort of joking about how far back Jeff Burton starts. He does as well. Todd Barrier said we wouldn't know any different coming here. We've always qualified poorly here, but we always run well. We know we got a car that can win the race. Our problem is going to be getting there from 40th starting position. In this race last fall, Jeff Burton started 36th and finished 2nd. expected, only because he had an issue on pit road late. He almost won it then. They feel like they got a good car here today.
Yeah, I just think if he'd have qualified 35th, he'd have won, I guess.
Well, and as you see, A.J. Allmendinger and Matt Kenseth going after each other. And put a period on Burton. Remember, back at Martinsville when he led 134 laps, ended up finishing 9th. Maybe we should have expected him to be moving to the front.
Yeah, and I guess he thought 36 wasn't enough for the challenge, trying to get back to 40 at this time.
On board with Kevin Harvick as he now goes underneath the 17. This is for 10th. And remember, Harvick started 29th. And we reminded you yesterday, if you were with us, that, yes, somebody has won from the 29th spot. Ricky Rudd did it. That's the deepest anyone's done it here at Phoenix back in 1995. But there's the man everybody's chasing. Denny Hamlin. His worst finish in the chase has been 12th. That was back at Kansas. We're at the Kobalt Tools 500 at Phoenix. You want to know why he's in the lead of the race and the chase? How about in 8 chase races, 7 top 10s, 4 of those in the top 5, and 2 of those victories. And right now he's trying to make victory number 3 in the chase right here, as he has got a 2.1 second lead over Kurt Busch, then Carl Edwards, Martin Truex Jr., and Tony Stewart. That's your top 5. This car is on a rail. Drop back a little bit further. Check in on the battle for 4th, because Martin Truex Jr. has his hands full right now, because here comes Tony Stewart. Remember, Truex wrecked hard yesterday in the Nationwide Series race. Running pretty good today, though, although he just got passed and bumped back to the 5th position.
Yeah, you talk about slick racetracks and things. You always think about Tony Stewart being successful. This is his kind of racetrack where you're really having to slide the car around, use the throttle, getting off the corner as much as anything, Dave.
And DJ, that characteristic is going to change. Word on the street is that this place will be paved following the April race next year. Tony knows about it. He's not that crazy about it just because he's been so successful here. 1 Cup win. He's won an open wheel here and used to be a tire tester in the IndyCar series. He's got thousands of laps here, knows this place very well. As crew chief Darian Grubb told me, knows every pebble on the pavement until next year sometime.
You know, the slicker a racetrack gets, the better this guy goes. I mean, he really is one of the very best on a slick track.
As you can see by the number of laps we've put away already, we are approaching the 1/3 mark of the race here today at Phoenix International. Move back a little further in the field. The battle for 15th with Mark Martin, Joey Logano, and Jeff Burton. Mark Martin had himself a pretty good race car yesterday in the final practice. Been sort of surprised they haven't moved up a little further.
Well, he's been pretty steady. I watched his lap times here in the last 15, 20 laps. He's been some of the fastest. Top 3 lap times on the board. He's coming to the front.
Yeah, he was behind Jeff Burton a couple of cars and not quite a half a straightaway, but you see now he's passed Jeff Burton and Joey Logano, so he is headed in the right direction. Vince?
Well, that's for sure. They were wicked loose with no grip in that first stint, so they weren't able to make up much ground, but it's getting better. He says the front end is turning a lot better, starting to come to him. Says he feels a lot better about it now, which is exactly how they felt going into the race. They were very confident that they'd have a race car that could contend for the win today. They've made a lot of strides recently. They've shuffled some spots in their staff. They've improved their engineering. They've made a couple of pit crew changes, built some better cars. Things are turning around for the 5 just in time.
And as you finish up, we focus the cameras on the battle for 6th on the right side. And here we go with, on the left side, the battle for 14th between Greg Biffle and Mark Martin. Caution is out. We've got debris on the racetrack. So all of a sudden here with our 3rd caution right at the 100 lap mark of the 312 scheduled under the beautiful sunshiny skies of Phoenix. And That's going to wipe out that 2.5-second lead that Denny Hamlin had and tighten up the field once again. Total of 31 cars right now on the lead lap, and it looks like Jamie McMurray is going to be the lucky dog recipient, give them a chance to fix some of that damage.
Yeah, he needed
back out there.
He needed to fix the car, and he gets the lucky dog on top of that. So big break for Jamie McMurray. It's going to be an opportunity now for these pit crews to show what they can do, try to gain some spots.
And there's some of the debris that, whoop, look out, guys.
Yeah. Somebody may have hit it.
Let's go back. Oh, there goes some stuff. Whoa, and that's Jimmy Johnson's view of it.
Oh, what that was?
That's a water bottle.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
Yeah, you're right. There it goes. I bet you got Jimmy's attention.
Yeah, got the caution he was looking for, too.
It might get NASCAR's attention, too.
Oh, here they come down pit road, and led by race leader Denny Hamlin. Jamie?
Absolutely. Jimmy Johnson said, oh my gosh, his water bottle just went all over me. Other than that, though, car's pretty good, just a tick loose. 4 tires is the call, so no go fuel. Vince?
No grip for Kurt Busch, running second coming into this pit stop. They're going to take a half round out of the track bar and an air pressure adjustment. Doc?
Half round on the track bar, air pressure change. It's loose in, needs to rotate the middle better. 4 tires for Hamlin. Dave.
Carl Edwards' car is loose on the throttle, wedge, and air pressure adjustment for him. All 3 of our contenders now in the top 10. Let's see how they hold on their pit stops. Carl is going to narrowly win the race off pit road. Then comes Hamlin. It'll be Tony Stewart just getting by Jimmy Johnson, and then Kevin Harvick.
So you see, Johnson picks up 1. Truex drops 3. Kyle, the big winner here, as he picks up 3 spots. And Kevin Harvick gets out in 10th. So you're dead spot on, Dave Burns. It looks like all 3 are going to be restarting in the top 10. Back here at Phoenix, things are getting very interesting. Let's take a look at the Fast 5 on the pit stops as we're getting ready to go.
I was a little skeptical about this change for Jimmy Johnson's team, but look here. The fastest pit stop on pit road for 4 tires. Denny Hamlin, a second slower, lost the lead. And Jeff Gordon's crew actually lost 6 spots.
Yeah, they're restarting 16th. We're back to green flag racing. And leader Carl Edwards took the outside this time. Look out.
Harvick got into Biffle pretty hard.
Yeah, the Allmendinger, he was forced up there because he couldn't get down. A.J. Allmendinger stuck his nose in there, making it 3 wide going into 1.
Hamlin's going back for the lead, side by side. He doesn't know what's going on behind him involving Harvick. He's just worried about Edwards right now.
Yeah, he could care less as he jumps back out front. Well, Edwards chose the outside that time. A little bit of interesting strategy there. Maybe just wanted to see for later in the race what would be the best scenario.
Well, Kurt Busch got him from the outside on the earlier restart. Now he gets a return from the inside from Denny Hamlin, and it's our 7th lead change between 4 drivers. From Jimmy Johnson's perspective, he is running 7th. Kevin Harvick is running 10th. There you see Harvick trying to get up on the back bumper of Martin Truex. Johnson going side by side with Tony Stewart. Had to try 3 wide, a little bit deeper back. Kenseth leading that pack.
See Harvick trying to make a move on Martin Truex there. Martin got a little loose on the exit of turn 2.
Here comes Harvick again. A run on Truex. Right in front of the 2 of them, that is Greg Biffle. Right behind him, Matt Kenseth. Move Harvick up to the 9th spot. The 3 chase contenders now in the top 9. There's the proximity from Johnson. Back to Harvick. And there's your race leader, Denny Hamlin, and he's trying to open it up. It's up to half a second over second place, Carl Edwards. Harvick right up on the 16. Biffle gets loose.
Yeah, Biffle's doing everything he can to keep this 29 car behind him, but he may lose that battle here in just a second.
Harvick continues his pursuit of Greg Biffle. Let's get an update, Vince.
Kevin Harvick has dodged the bullet a couple of times, once with a little contact with the wall off turn 2 and another time with the 43. Here's the radio from Harvick.
Look at the left front fender. I think it's okay, Joe. It's the 43 pulled right in front of us. Looks fine. It looks like you might have hit it up on the very front of the bumper up there. Just scratched it.
You know, and I talked to Gil Martin this morning about the problems with coming up through the field, and he talked about how tight this track is. Very little room for error, but he said, if I got to have anybody behind the wheel in this kind of circumstance, it's Kevin Harvick. It's his kind of track.
All right, Vince, and you see Gil Martin studying all he can. Let's show you what happened to the 43 right here, and the contact right there. And then here's the thank you. I didn't appreciate that.
Kind of carried on into the restart, too.
Yeah, it looked like AJ, that might have been the reason he forced the issue a little bit there on that restart.
So right now, though, it does not seem to be impeding Harvick. He's in the 9th position, although he has lost a little contact with Greg Biffle. You can see Biffle's got a few car lengths on him. Can't say the same any longer for that nice half a second lead. It's down to about 0.2 of a second as Carl Edwards is starting to close. Seems like Carl's car is not that good right off the initial restart, but as the laps progress, he gets better.
But he better, because that 11 car, what we saw in the last run, doesn't slow down much at all either. So I would imagine they've had to make some adjustment on Carl Edwards, as Denny Hamlin has shown his hand pretty much and let everybody know he has the fastest car so far here today.
As they come by this time, lead is about 0.3 of a second. In fact, as Denny Hamlin was the fastest that lap.
Yeah, and you know the thing that strikes me is watching Denny Hamlin go around here. He makes it look almost effortless. And yeah, you have to have a good car, but that shows just how smooth this guy is. He just gets the most out of this car without making it look very difficult.
While this is going on, we can tell you that you see Jimmy Johnson. He's moved around Tony Stewart, put him up into the 6th spot here at the Kobalt Tools 500.
Kobalt Tools 500 in Phoenix is brought to you by Silver Star Ultra Headlights from Sylvania. See farther, see wider, see better, and faster. This Thanksgiving, if you're on his list, then you're already dead. Dwayne Johnson and Faster in theaters November 24th.
Back here at Phoenix International, Denny Hamlin has taken over the top spot in laps led. 53 so far, and Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. And of course, let's check in right now on how the championship will shape up. Denny, who came in with the lead, with him running up front, take a look at how he could stretch the margin based on what we're seeing so far. 73 points over Jimmy Johnson, another 116 back to Kevin Harvick. How about the fastest lap so far? 27.53 seconds, and it was turned in by the man who's running 3rd right now, Kurt Busch. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. There is 1st and 2nd in your screen. We've had a total of 4 leaders, 7 lead changes. Only 2 cars out of this race so far. Brad Keselowski and Brendan Gaughan, both by contact. Back further in the field, the battle for 15th as Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin going after each other.
Mark Martin's still trying to make this charge to the front. Said they were getting his race car better the last time.
Mark started 28th. Battle for 12th as Jeff Burton continues his march towards the front. He's got himself a nice little race car going here right now. 31 started this race in 40th. Of course, Juan Pablo Montoya started well back in the field also, back in 35th. So give him a little bit of love also, because they have worked their way up. They're 12th and 13th right now. Jeff Gordon running right behind A.J. Allmendinger, 14th and 15th. We already mentioned that battle. Let's get an update on the 24, Dave.
And Marty, he had worked his way up through the field. Remember, he started 22nd, qualified 22nd on the day. But they had a net gain of 1 on the first pit stop. Sorry, a gain of 1. And then lost 6 on the last stop. Had a little issue on the front tire exchange. So they are a net loss of 5 right now with the new pit crew on the 24. Jeff trying to work his way back after starting this run in the 16th position.
Oh, we mentioned that point that they slipped back on that last stop.
Yeah, that right front is where they had the problems when they were on Jimmy Johnson's team. That's where they were slow last week.
Jeff's going to have to try and pick up the spots that they lost on pit road. He's got teammate Mark Martin closing on him quickly here.
See, right behind them, the 88 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., so three of the Hendrick cars kind of running together. See, Jeff finally just pulls over, kind of lets Mark go. See if he can figure out maybe where he's a little bit faster, or it could just be that Jeff's car is not to his liking. Get the most out of it and work on at the next stop.
How about the Busch brothers as they go after each other for third position? Kurt's got it. Kyle would certainly like to take it away from him. Vince, give us an update.
With Kurt Busch, this is the car that he drove to victory earlier this season in Atlanta, and while a lot of teams are going with new cars, they've actually gone back to some older things that have worked for Kurt in the past, kind of hoping that maybe if they take one step back, they can end up taking 2 steps forward, because some of the new stuff they were trying just wasn't working. A moment ago, Kurt came on the radio and he said, I don't know what to tell you. The changes we make that help us in practice don't seem to have much effect on us here in the race. Doc?
And for Kyle Busch behind him, the last time he drove this car, he led 217 laps, only to have the car get tight late at Charlotte, and Jamie McMurray won the race. Kyle was very poor in happy hour yesterday, 32nd on the speed charts. They knew they would be better. They made adjustments based on what their teammate Denny Hamlin had done late in happy hour, and obviously it's helped the car quite a bit now. Kyle moving his way toward the front.
Well, Doc, Kyle hasn't had a great weekend. Remember, he finished second in the truck race, and, you know, anything worse than first is terrible for him, but it was worse yesterday. He finished 16th in the nationwide race. Jimmy Johnson trying to get closer. He is in 6th spot right now, but the man up front is Denny Hamlin. You know, Joe Gibbs Racing only has 1 win here in Cup action back in '99. Tony Stewart.
Our Dodge race rundown. Denny Hamlin has been impressive through the first half of today's race.
Well, he has. He's qualified not too good when he started and drove this thing all the way up to the front. I mean, with no assistance really from anybody. Just a great handling race car. He's leading this thing right now and continuously lap after lap, just laying out really fast lap times.
Hamlin has led the most laps so far. Jimmy Johnson's been no slouch either.
No, Jimmy's done a great job. You see this little incident early in the race. Greg Biffle getting into David Rudiman. Jimmy almost runs over him, gets up on the wheel, slows down, comes into the pits. He's done a great job all day. His pit crew's been pretty solid. So Jimmy's had a good run, and he's marching towards the top of the leaderboard.
The new 48 pit crew. Very solid today. Kevin Harvick has had his moments, good and bad today.
Yeah, good and bad. We said the good part, driving up from 29th, currently into 8th position. He's got his handling, fought a little bit of a loose problem, touched the wall a little bit right there. Little action on pit road. We said he wasn't going to be afraid to use a bumper. He's using it right there. Little touch with A.J. Allmendinger, let him know he was unhappy. A.J. let him know he was unhappy on the inside. Shot on the inside, made it 3 wide, caused Kevin and the 16 to bump. Got no damage, still going forward.
A little pinball action there. And we watch Jimmy Johnson continue to move forward through the field. He is working on Kurt Busch for 4th position here as Johnson continues to pick his way forward. We've had 3 cautions for 14 laps. 4 different drivers have led today. Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Bobby Labonte, a couple under caution, and Denny Hamlin has led the most laps. Remember, in this race a year ago, Jimmy Johnson went out front and led 238 of 312 for a maximum points day on the way to the championship. Hamlin trying to take a page out of that playbook today, but Johnson trying to work his way forward, and still plenty of time to get up there and lead some laps for bonus points.
There is a lot of time left for Jimmy Johnson. I'm very, very impressed how his car is handling right now. This is a team that's won 4 championships in a row. They know how to do it, and I said earlier, I really want to see how Jimmy's going to run this race. He can't protect his points. He's just got to drive hard. And like I said earlier, those lap times are great. And now he's just got Pat Kurt Busch. He's moved into 4th position right now. And this car is fast, guys. Brad, I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing out of him.
1 pit stop away for Jimmy Johnson from ending up on Denny Hamlin's bumper. I tell you what, this car is super fast. Kevin Harvick's done a great job as well. After we see our next pit stop, these guys are going to be bunched up, and they're going to go racing.
And guys, we're getting close to halfway, and you know, Rusty, this track changes. The rubber gets down, the shadow starts to change. It's hard when you got a car as good as the 11 is to keep changing it. These other guys are going to adjust. They've got nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Well, speaking of the 11 car and change, Rusty, I want to show you some numbers from the first races this year on some of the flatter tracks on the circuit. Leave Martinsville aside. Richmond, New Hampshire, here at Phoenix. Look at the results for the 11 team from the first round this year. Now look at the second round this year. Mike Ford said it was a point of emphasis.
Yeah, Mike Ford on Monday night on our NASCAR Now show, we had him on and he said, look, we were just terrible the first half of the year, but we went to work. We made some major changes on the short tracks, and it has really helped this car a lot. He did win Martinsville. He's ran great up in New Hampshire. He's been flat flying on these flat racetracks, and that guy right there on the left, Mike Ford, is a big part of this. He realized they had a problem, and they went to work on it quick.
Okay, somebody else you better keep an eye on today. Ryan Newman. Remember, he won the race here in April. He only led the last 4 laps of the race. He's hanging around.
Yeah, Ryan has done an outstanding job. Perfect racetrack for Ryan Newman. You got to be real aggressive to advance your race car. We know he likes to put that car in tough positions. He's hard to race around. Another guy is the guy running in 10th position is Martin Truex Jr. He has been in the mix all day long. A good, solid run for that Michael Waltrip Racing engine.
Yes, Kevin Harvick.
And again, I was going to say, great for all those guys, both of the Stewart-Haas cars up there, but look right there. There's Happy Harvick working that car. Those cars, the Childress cars, always turn the center of the corner good here. Works good on the bottom. He and Gil Martin worked on drive-off. Looks like they've got it. That thing's going to continue to move forward.
Yep.
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it's just taking off. We've been talking. I think we're too low on rear air.
It's just taking off is good.
Well, the track's coming to, and as we said, it changes. And as those shadows get down, the sun moves fast here, and those grandstands create shadows, changes the grip on the racetrack.
Well, that last time by, he was exactly the same speed as the leader at 29.21. So Harvick has got a car as fast as the leader right now. Eventually got more.
Yeah, you know, early in the run, he was struggling with it. Then you heard them reference that the air pressures were coming up. The car has definitely come to life in the second half of this run. They like the long runs anyway. They think they need to go back on a track bar adjustment made on the previous stop. But right now, Kevin Harvick is as happy with his car as he's been all day.
Leaders last on pit road just over 40 laps ago as we work close to the midway point of today's race here in Phoenix. It's the Kobalt Tools 500. All of the 3 championship drivers running in the top 7 positions at this point. Nobody running as well as Denny Hamlin, though. He's led the most laps so far today, and he's running first.
Hi, I'm Seth Rowe. You ever watch NASCAR and wish that instead of a track, the cars were on city streets and had giant machine guns mounted on them? Well, NASCAR obviously can't do that. But you can see it January 14th when the Green Hornet hits theaters in 3 weeks.
And Seth, that's maybe what those guys need to shoot down Denny Hamlin, because right now he's on a rail, 1.6 seconds ahead of Carl Edwards. He's gone over the 1,000-lap lead mark this season, only the second time in his career. He's led a total of 84 so far, so he's looking to rack up maximum points day here if he can do it. Getting into a little bit of traffic now.
Yeah, watching lap times, he's getting caught just a little bit. Jimmy Johnson actually had the fastest lap last lap.
Points as of now as they run. They're running 1st, 4th, and 6th. And he would lengthen the lead to 68 if he can hold on. But again, a long way to go in this one. Going around Robbie Gordon right now. Robbie, the last car on the lead lap. Now he'll be in 31st position, 1 lap down. Next victim will be Marcus Ambrose. Look out. Paul Menard gets a little tail happy, and that allows Ambrose to tuck in underneath.
Yeah, Denny would prefer to see all of these guys just kind of drive it straight right in front of him until he gets by. And the good thing, and you're talking about, he's lost a little bit of his lead here, but he knows that Jimmy Johnson and the rest will have to negotiate their way through there too.
Did you notice Denny giving that 2 ahead of him a little bit of room? I mean, Menard came close to hitting the wall the last time around, and now he's trying to close in on him. And Ambrose does finally clear the 98.
Well, none of these guys want to go a lap down, so they're going to run as hard as they possibly can. And with Ambrose, he's just trying to put as many spots between him and Denny as he can. And by passing Paul, he gets him maybe another lap without going down a lap, or maybe a half a lap.
Yeah, maybe a corner.
Yeah. His Denny's car is just so good, though. He can just pick and choose. He's got such drive off. Car's turning in the center and just doing everything it looks like he wants to, Doc.
Well, it is is, DJ. Remember how I told you a tiny tweak at the end of happy hour yesterday really helped this car take off? And you guys wisely said that what that means is a tiny tweak in the race could hurt the car. And that's what's happened in the last 10 or 15 laps. Then he says they made a minor track bar adjustment. And now he said the car is tighter than it's been in the center and starting to get loose up off the corner. So Mike Ford, being the good crew, he said we're just going to go back to where it was before on our next pit stop in about 14 laps. Getting back where it was. He's good now, but he was even better before this change.
Well, while you were talking, Doc, a chunk of rubber got kicked up right in front of Denny. It bounced off the car. Luckily, it looks like it did no harm.
You see a lot of that here at this track, and it's just, you know, the tires they run here are fairly soft, so they make, you know, these big marbles, they kind of clump together, and you'll see that from time to time. No real problem, though.
And already you're beginning to see the sun. It will become a much bigger factor as this race goes on, going down into turn number 1. We saw it yesterday in the nationwide race, and guys literally talking on the radio, I can't see. Right now, the only thing the field can see is Denny Hamlin. He is running away from this field. He's 2 seconds ahead of Carl Edwards, and pit stops are coming up. Will they be under green flags here at the Kobalt Tools 500 at Phoenix? Stay with us to find out. Set your alarm. College Hoops Tip-Off Marathon. The action kicks off following Monday Night Football on ESPN. You can catch 21 games over 24 consecutive hours. The signs of the season are everywhere. That's right. It follows Monday Night Football. If you are a basketball fan, you're in nirvana. Battle for second on the track. All of a sudden, Kyle Busch has found some life, and he is going around Carl Edwards and bumping Carl back to third.
That sun's kind of come out here and starting to bake on the track. Has changed, you know, how this track's acting on some of these chassis setups. And like Kyle Busch likes it. His car likes this.
It's our longest green flag stretch. We're up to 55 laps and counting. Pit stops are starting. The 98 of Paul Menard is in. Jamie.
And you see a chassis adjustment. Big swing at it in the rear window. He's been struggling a little bit today, and he continues on the right side of the car. 4 tires pitting just a little bit early for Paul Menard.
As he comes back out, you continue to see on the right side of your screen that Kyle Busch has pulled away a little bit from Carl Edwards. They're approaching some slower traffic of Landon Castle. Castle's 30 laps down in 41st position. How about race leader Denny Hamlin? He is approaching David Reagan. And Reagan, the last car on the lead lap right now, he's in 26, so now he goes a lap down. Elliott Sadler is in. Let's go over the wall with our crew cam. Mitch Lash, the jack man. Change is done, and they're back out and underway. Sadler 1 lap down right now, running in 30th position. The man up front now 3.3 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch. The 42 is now coming in. Vince, let's send it down your way.
Juan Pablo Montoya has just been fighting the rear, just sliding throughout the course of the race. They haven't been able to get it to the stability level of his liking to where he can really drive off the corner. It's a 4-tire stop, making an air pressure change as well for the 42 of Juan Pablo Montoya. The 33 of Clint Boyer coming in. Boy, they've thrown a lot at this car since some damage earlier. A couple of rounds down on the track bar. They're going to go back on an air pressure adjustment to where they originally started for Clint Boyer. Doc?
A.J. Allmendinger coming down pit road. Very frustrating day for A.J. Said no matter what we do with the car, we cannot get it to do what we want to do. It makes no difference. He seems very frustrated as the driver come in. 4-tire change, chassis adjustment, air pressure. They have gone with wedge and track bar in the past, but it has not helped Allmendinger's car turn in the middle or get off the corner. Dave.
Greg Biffle fell from 12th to 16th on that run. Wedge and air pressure adjustment to fix a car that came to the tight condition when the sun came out. It was better in the shade or the overcast that we had earlier. 24 of Jeff Gordon is on pit road. Before this round of pit stop started, he had gone to the 15th position. That's just up 1 from the start of the run. Crew's going to go to work for a car that right now is aero-tight. When he closes up on somebody, he can't pass. Wedge adjustment. Jamie?
When the sun comes out, the 48 gets loose. The drive off goes away. Wedge in. 4 tires. They have been nailing these pit stops a little bit longer this time, Vince.
Tight in the center for Kevin Harvick, but it got better on the run. They put the track bar back and added an air pressure adjustment as well for Harvick. Doc.
coming down pit road. He'll have to go around the 31 car who's pitting right behind him. That's what costs you on pit road, having to go around someone, because you can't get all the way in your pit stop even. 31 is out. Now here comes the 11 in. See, he's put it in, nose into the car. Now watch them. They'll 4 tires. They will go back up on the track bar, which is the change they had made before, and they're going to put a little wedge in the car. Try to get the car to turn better. Okay.
Tony Stewart telling crew chief Darian Grubb that they did not make any headway on the race car this time. The car right now tighter and losing forward bite. It'll be an air pressure adjustment. I think they made a chassis adjustment as well on the 14. Cleaned that grill extremely well and waiting on the left side. Now he's gone. Uh-oh.
That's not the way it's designed to work. I guarantee you.
I've never seen that.
Doc, let's go to you.
Kyle Busch stayed out 1 lap when teammate Denny Hamlin pitted to get that 5 bonus points for leading 4 tires. Air pressure adjustment. Kyle said when the sun came out, our car took off, so he's really good right now. Yes.
There's the 83 at Casey Kane, and you know that it's not very good for your aerodynamics when you got that can sticking out the back end. Well, he's had a tough day on pit road, missed his box on the first stop, but off and away for the 83 at Kane.
Well, I'm sure Sunoco appreciated the extra exposure.
You know, they say if you stay around something long enough, you'll see everything. I thought I'd seen it all.
All right, let's go back and talk a little bit about Denny Hamlin's pit stop. 14 seconds. Here comes Matt Kenseth as he finally peels off. We'll get more about that in a second, but here comes Matt. Jamie?
Well, he didn't mean to come in this late. He actually missed the cue, and he said, sorry, guys. They said, you know what, stay out, let's lead a lap. He did just that. They stayed out 3 more laps. He's in now, filling it up with Sunoco fuel there. Then they took that can away. 4 tires is the call for Matt Kenseth, who had a great run last week, Marty.
And as he comes back out, wait and cycle through, because there you can see Carl Edwards coming through, and there is Denny Hamlin as he is again the race leader, but he came in with a 3-second lead. He now has an 0.8 of a second lead.
And not the greatest pit stop.
Now, they've been off on all 3 of their pit stops so far, but got a fast enough car. It hasn't mattered yet.
Well, we just had another round of green flag stops. Let's revisit the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. The fastest pit crew is determined by the winner of each race, the pit time, and your vote. Be sure to text the car number to 2258 for your pit crew choice. All right, we've knocked down 176 laps in the 312 here at Phoenix. Denny Hamlin still out in front. You're looking at race leader Denny Hamlin here at the Kobalt Tools 500. 131 laps to go. He's led 110 of them. And he has only led 93 laps here in his previous 10 starts, and he's already blistered that today as he is blistering this field by 1.4 seconds over Kyle Busch in 2nd place. Carl Edwards now in 3rd. Jimmy Johnson's now 4th. Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 5, so it's getting better. But remember, we talked about the 83. As you see, there are the top 5 going through your screen. Let's go back to this pit stop.
Yeah, check this out. He leaves the can laying up on the deck lid. Look at that. How it rolls around, hooks on that spoiler. Unbelievable.
Made 1 full lap around.
That thing will never do that again.
And that's the way they're supposed to look. So the 83 of Casey Kane back out on the track. He is in 35th spot. No laughing matter for them. They are 2 laps down. It has been that kind of day for him. Kevin Harvick, we mentioned the fact he is in 5th position right now, 5 seconds behind the race lead and 2 seconds behind Jimmy Johnson. And let's take a look at the Fast 5.
Yeah, green flag pit stops, 4 tires, 12.7, Kevin Harvick's team. There's Jimmy Johnson's team with Jeff Gordon's pit crew doing a great job still.
And we mentioned the fact that it was a 14-plus second stop for Denny Hamlin when it occurred. So that gives you an idea. They did not have the kind of stop they wanted, but it didn't seem to hurt them. I mean, they had a 3-second lead, and as we pointed out, he came back out and it was less than a second. So
yeah, he's so fast right now. It doesn't really make any difference.
Harvick goes around the lap traffic of Paul Menard. Menard running 26th right now.
Kevin Harvick now in the top 5, though. He's driven a great race so far.
Remember, he started back in the 29th position. But the one thing he knows he has to do is he has to get ahead of the two guys that are still in front of him in the championship battle.
Yeah, if you're going to have a legitimate chance next week at Homestead, he's going to have to find a way to get in front of Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson.
How about the battle for 13th? Mark Martin still slowly but surely plotting his way forward. But Kurt Busch, remember, he led this race early. He's going the wrong direction.
Yeah, certainly headed in the wrong direction you mentioned, Marty. They, after their last pit stop, it wasn't great, and just not getting the adjustments that they're making on the race car aren't suiting Kurt Busch right now.
Let's get an update on the 5. Vince?
Well, the car keeps getting better and better for Mark Martin. He and crew chief Alan Gustafson were very encouraged by their car at the beginning of the day, but they struggled early, but it has continued to get better. You know, and I asked Gustafson about starting 28th, and he said, we were 2 laps down in Martinsville and finished 2nd. I think we can get up from 28th, that's for sure. So Mark Martin still working on the car, having to be a little bit more aggressive with this shorter race. Not much time to sit back and be patient here at Phoenix, Marty.
And he's trying to go under Juan Pablo Montoya, who he started 35th in this race. Juan slams the door on him. That's Robbie Gordon. Lap traffic. He's 31st position, 1 lap down.
Yeah, if we stay with this long enough, though, the one driver that Montoya doesn't race quite as hard is Mark Martin, because of the huge amount of respect that he has for him. And Mark was someone that really sat down with Montoya when he came in to drive these stock cars and talked to him a lot about that.
We'll go down the backstretch, side by side, heading for turn 3. And Juan gives him room, but he's not making it real easy.
Giving him plenty of room, though.
Yep, and he does, and he finally clears him. So move Mark Martin up another spot, give him the 12th position. He'll set sail now for Matt Kenseth. Zero in on Jimmy Johnson right now, because he is 4.6 seconds behind the race leader, Denny Hamlin. And also gives us a chance to talk about Chevrolet. They want you and 3 of your friends to meet Kevin Harvick and Miss Sprint Cup at the NASCAR Sprint Cup Awards ceremony in Las Vegas. You can also win 2 all-new Chevrolet Cruze LTZs to go along for the trip. For your chance to win, enter at winyourchevy.com. Well, as you see the top 5 there, well, the top 7, Hamlin and Edwards are the only drivers in that group without a Cup win here at Phoenix. Let's check the calendar, because NASCAR Now is going to be on tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2, and of course the Monday Roundtable at 5 Eastern. And then the NHRA Finals, last event, the championships will be given out tonight at 9 Eastern on ESPN. And our NASCAR Nationwide Series finale, the Ford 300 at Homestead, Miami, 4 o'clock Eastern, Saturday on ESPN2. And then NASCAR Sprint Cup Series action, the Ford 400 at Homestead, Miami, next Sunday on ESPN. We'll wrap it up and crown the champion at 1 o'clock Eastern. Riding on board with Kevin Harvick.
Harvick's working on his back bumper right now. I mean, he's closed right into him.
That's Jimmy Johnson right in front of him. That is 4th and 5th on the racetrack as we approach 200 laps complete. Yes, here comes Harvick, side by side.
The sun came out about, 30, 40 laps ago. Seems to have helped some cars and hurt some. Looks like it's helped the 29, maybe hurt the 48 a little bit.
Well, we talked about, Kevin Harvick, about what you had to do if you wanted to win this chase.
I don't think it's going to come down to, a 5th or 6th place finishes. It's going to come down to somebody who can win and take the moment. And I think it's going to be about being on the offense and taking the championship. It's not going to be, you're not going to back into it by any means.
And you want to see the backup to that, because right now, even though he has driven himself past Jimmy and up into 4th, he is still losing ground because Denny Hamlin is running up front. Hamlin leads by 73 right now over Johnson, 94 over Harvick.
Yeah, we said a few weeks ago that you might go ahead and run 5th in all of these chase races that were remaining and that not get the job done. You've got Denny Hamlin leading the most laps and winning these races. Just proves the point. But all of these guys, we have our 3 in the top 5 right now.
Rusty, you've got an observation on the 29?
Yeah, guys, I've been looking at, there's a lot of rubber buildup out here in the left rear quarter panel of Kevin Harvick's car. It's got so much rubber buildup from the tires that's hanging out the left rear quarter panel. Take a look at that. Talk about building up and how sticky these tires are at this particular track, short track style stuff. I don't believe I've ever seen anything like that. That is a lot of rubber there.
I've seen it collect and build up on different places on the car, but never right there on the outside lip like that. It's kind of strange.
Any disadvantage?
No, it's not hurting it. And that's what you were talking about earlier when you saw that big ball of rubber come off of one of the cars right in front of Denny Hamlin, and that's exactly what's happening.
There you see all of those marbles that kind of collect. This is just outside of the groove where our camera is.
We were talking about going out and taking the championship. You heard Kevin. One other thing you better start thinking about, you got to get around Denny Hamlin soon. He's got about another, I'd say, 20 laps, and he is going to lock up the 5 bonus points for most laps led.
Somebody might get around him soon, around Denny Hamlin. That's his teammate, Kyle Busch, who's coming in a hurry.
That's Regan Smith between Hamlin and Kyle. Regan is 1 lap down in 21st position. We have a total of 19 cars on the lead lap.
If this were Formula One, somebody might be talking about that, well, team orders or something. He might not go up there and pass the guy trying to win the championship. This is NASCAR racing. I'm pretty sure that Kyle Busch would scoff at anybody trying to tell him not to go take the lead, huh?
Jamie McMurray is 1 lap down right now. The troubles that he's had. Let's get an update on the 11 as the 18's coming after him, Doc.
Indeed he is, and remember now the 11 did share their setup this morning with what they had done in happy hour. Dave Rogers went over and moved his setup more to what you're seeing with the 11 car right now. The 11 car, Denny Hamlin says the car is much better after they moved the track bar back up. He said, but about 3 or 4 laps ago, it started getting tighter and tighter in the center, so they're going to have to make an adjustment now. Track quite a bit different than when they started the day with the sun out. Different conditions now for Denny Hamlin, although he loves this race car, and it's been up front for most of the afternoon.
Don't forget there's a minimum of 15-point difference between first and second place. Battle for 5th right now as Tony Stewart's closing in on Jimmy Johnson. Tucking in a little tighter as they come through the corner. Whoop! You can see him hacksaw on the wheel.
Yeah, you see Jimmy really looks like he's lost rear grip in this run. One thing that I've been noticing, it just hasn't been able to keep the car where he did that last run when it stayed a little more consistent than this. Jamie?
This 48 car does not like the sun. Right now the track temp is about 96 degrees. He was at his best about 89 degrees. This was Jimmy on the radio a few laps ago.
Yeah, on throttle, at least right now, it feels a little bit better. But it's not going anywhere. Gas it up, man. Let's go. Go for it, bud.
And you hear his crew chief checking out saying, let's go, man. He's telling him, you got to give us something. You got to keep going. He's trying to coach him into this, but he's falling back a little bit, saying he's tight through the center right now.
There's Chad on the right side. You saw them get around. Both of them got around Sam Hornish Jr. He's 25th right now, 1 lap down.
Well, this time as a driver, you heard Chad told him, get it up and do what you can. As a driver, you just start searching around a little bit more. What do I need to arc it into the corner a little bit more? Where do I need to have this left front tire so I can get the best drive off and get my car turned in the center? You have to search, but you don't want to give up that spot to somebody like Tony Stewart, who's right behind you either.
There's our race leader. Let's check speeds at the line this time. See who's the quickest. So far, Kyle Busch. Tony Stewart, 3rd quick. You can see why he's closing on Jimmy Johnson. And Martin Truex Jr. And here comes Stewart on the high side as he looks like he is going to bump Jimmy back to the 6th position. And that's not what Jimmy wants if he wants to be the last man standing.
It's the Kobalt Tools 500 at Phoenix. Welcome back. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. An interesting moment has just occurred in this race as we're past the 2/3 mark, and it involves points toward the championship for Denny Hamlin.
We've seen over the years how important it's been to have those bonus points, and Denny Hamlin is getting ready, well, right about now to collect those 5 very important bonus points that he'll use at the end of this championship run, possibly to separate himself.
If you're new to NASCAR, a driver who leads a lap, any lap during the race, collects 5 championship points as a bonus. The driver who leads the most laps in a race collects 5 bonus points toward the championship. Denny's just locked up, leading the most laps in this race. He has trailed Jimmy Johnson in that bonus point category for much of this chase and has just done himself a big favor so far. Speaking of Jimmy Johnson, not showing the kind of strength we thought in this last run of the race.
No, this is just what we talked about in the countdown show, guys. We knew, but looking at the numbers, that if Jimmy even ran his average, which he's done, he's a 4th to 6th place car. Here, it may not be good enough because of Denny Hamlin punching above his weight, as we called it. Jimmy and Chad have not been able to hit the sharpness to get this car up to the front to challenge the 11 car all day long.
You love those boxing analogies,
yeah, I do.
don't you?
Well, I tell you, in my opinion, one of the stars of the show so far today is Jeff Burton driving a 31 car. He has picked up 33 positions from the start of this race. He's currently running in the 7th position, and I keep looking at his lap times. He's probably the fastest, if not the top 4 in speeds all day long. He has got a rocket ship. This thing is flat flying.
Tony Stewart moving forward. 4th spot, fighting there with Kevin Harvick for the position.
Kind of the forgotten man in all this, but Tony Stewart, as we heard Andy and DJ talk about earlier, loves a slick racetrack, and this thing is just falling right into his hands, and he is marching forward. Very good, very consistent lap times. He could be a big factor coming into this race today.
You know, in all of our pre-race conversations, we talked about Kevin Harvick had to get up to the front. He had to get to the front, and Jimmy Johnson had to try and find a way to turn it around on Denny Hamlin today. As this race gets into its later laps, Ray, if you're the crew chief up there on the box, and you've seen Denny leading and leading and leading and locking up those bonus points, does any desperation set in, or do you just have to keep doing what you're doing?
Well, this late in the race, you're sitting there thinking, all right, there's no way that I've got a car that can go up there and challenge this guy and take those points from him. So you're hoping for those late race cautions that we talked about, so you can try some kind of strategy, get track position, somehow hope that the 11 gets...
I think that was Harvick saying he lost all the front and rear grip on his car.
Somehow hoping that the 11 gets mired in that traffic and you can get a break. As we said, it's very important that the 29 cut that point lead in half. And right now, he's actually lost rather than gained.
Long green flag run. Again, we went back to racing at lap 106. We have not seen the caution since. We're going to see one now. Robbie Gordon has just gone for a spin. And the yellow flag is out with 90 laps to go.
And they needed that. A lot of these guys were not handling good, especially Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson needed this caution to get these things fixed and get back in the game, and they got it.
They got to get back in the game. Denny Hamlin is the fastest car on the racetrack right now, and it seems to me that either the 48 or the 29, they're going to have to force the 11 car, Denny Hamlin, to make some kind of mistake, or his team, because these guys are marching in this race today.
Robbie Gordon running back in 31st position at the time he brought out the caution flag.
Robbie comes off the corner there. Boy, she just dances out from underneath him, gets a little 4-wheel drift going, and can't quite catch up on that steering, Rusty.
Yeah, had that baby lit up trying to keep it off the wall, and did a really good job doing that, Brad, but
here we go.
Too loose.
See what happens.
I was just thinking he looked like he was in a drifting competition.
He did.
He's at 4-wheel drift.
Get ready for that Baja next week.
Yeah, yeah. So Robbie, again, 31st position at the time of the spin. Looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to be the car that gets back on the lead lap. As you look at the pit road performances so far today from the top contenders for the title.
And really good times out of Jimmy Johnson. We've been talking about this team all week long because of the crew swap. Boy, in my mind, it was the perfect move. I mean, stop after stop there in the 12 seconds every single time. And unfortunately, the 24 car with the old 48 team has really been struggling all day long. So a good call out of Chad Knaus and Rick Hendrick moving these teams for these last 2 races.
So Johnson's running 6th right now as he gets ready to pit.
The run before was better. I'm not sure if we changed anything. I'm struggling through the center of free. I'm kind of free turning in there. I'm trying to carry the speed in. And as soon as I get to the white line, I got to stay on the brake because it starts pushing. And then I'm just fighting with it from there off. 1 and 2 stayed about the same that run versus run before.
So go ahead, Chad, fix that.
It's hard. Loose entry always causes tight center. Am I lying, Rusty? When you're loose in, you don't want to turn that steering wheel down there. Here they go.
Here they come. Jamie?
Well, if anybody knows how to get the car fixed up, it is Chad Canals and his 48 team. They are going back on the adjustments from last stop, taking the wedge out, 4 tires, and filling it up with fuel, Vince.
Kevin Harvick has marched from 29th up to the top 5, but he said he lost front and rear grip late in the run. They're making a track bar adjustment and air pressure. Doc.
Monitoring a screen, Denny Hamlin, points leader, going to go up a half round on the track bar. 13.8 on 4 tires and losing grip in the right front. Dave.
Third place, Carl Edwards, tick looser, mostly in. Wedge and air pressure adjustment coming in. Kyle Busch is going to win the race off of pit road. Denny Hamlin close behind him. Let's see how Harvick and Johnson do. Johnson is going to get the spot back from Harvick.
Kyle Busch's team has been one of the best on pit road all season long. He hadn't passed Denny Hamlin on the racetrack. He just passed him on pit road. New leader, Kyle Busch, with 88 laps to go in Phoenix.
Developments here at the Kobalt Tools 500. It is bad news for Kevin Harvick. He came out of pit road 5th, but they were missing a lug nut. He has to come back in. He did it. He's now 19th. Here it is. Last lap on that left rear. And he drops from 5th to 19th. Vince?
Well, sometimes, we hear teams lose their composure in situations like this, but not Gil Martin and Kevin Harvick. They kept their cool. They know the championship is on the line, and this is certainly a tough break, but they haven't reached for the panic button. They haven't had a meltdown. Kevin Harvick's got plenty of work to do. Let's see if he can do it.
85 laps remaining right now. We're under our 4th caution after the Robbie Gordon spin. Let's listen to the sprint radio of Jimmy Johnson.
Do something with it this time, man. Let's do it. Dude, believe me, I'm trying. I really am. Didn't say you were, man. I just said let's do it this time. Difference between trying and doing, baby. Let's do it.
For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. All right, pace car's getting ready to pull off and has done so down pit road. It is Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson up front. Let's go full throttle with the Green Hornet.
48, 2x2. Still there, still with you. Still there. Still there. Inside. He's there inside. Clear, clear. Clear, 56. Outside 47. Back outside nose. Outside nose. Clear.
And on the restart, you see Denny Hamlin has retaken the lead from Kyle Busch. And right behind in 3rd place is Carl Edwards. Jimmy Johnson's 4th. Ryan Newman now 5th. And Jeff Burton, there you see him in 6th. And he's looking to take a peek under the 39.
We saw Kyle Busch get a nice jump on the restart there, but Denny Hamlin just got a huge run off of turn 2 and was passing him down the back straightaway.
Tony Stewart trying to go underneath Mark Martin as they go into 1. Remember, Tony dropped 5 spots on the last round of pit stop, so he's trying to fight his way back through guys he's already passed. And talk about guy trying to fight his way back. Yep, Kevin Harvick right now mired in 18th.
Carl Edwards now making a move.
2nd place on the line right here. Carl dives underneath. And then looks like he's going to be able to clear Kyle.
Maybe, maybe not.
Right back at you. Here comes Kyle. Ahead for 3, and they're still side by side. Carl carries the momentum out of 4. Slight touch there, but he keeps the spot.
It's amazing to me how these guys can drive their car sideways, out of control, that close together and not hit each other. Or wreck each other. They do hit each other.
How about Ryan Newman? Let's go back and check in on Kevin Harvick. As you can see, he's got lap traffic there, as well as people he is trying to pass for position.
What a mess he's got himself into here.
Paul Menard is a lap down. Sam Hornish is a lap down. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the guy he's trying to get to. That's the car right in front of him for position. And that would be for 18th. On a spin, the 38 goes around as Travis Kvapil. And the yellow is flying again with now 79 laps to go.
Caution is out. Caution is out. So you're fine.
Our 5th caution.
Way to save it. Hey, let's get some tires.
Last time everybody came in with just 10 laps to go. And that radio you heard was Travis Kvapil's crew.
It's going to be an opportunity now. For Kevin Harvick's at the back of the field, and even though they just went a few laps, he can come in and get fuel and make sure that he can make it to the end on fuel. I don't know what these leaders will do because we're inside that window. The last pit stop, they were just on the edge of that, of being able to make it all the way. Some probably could, some not.
To make it back.
Let's show you the back end. You can see he's already into the spin.
Yeah, it just looked like as he got down trying to roll the center of the corner and pick the throttle up, got away from it, but nice job of saving.
And Travis was running in the 36th position. He was 3 laps down. Got a few takers further back in the field. Starts with the 17 of Matt Kenseth, also the 43, A.J. Allmendinger, Montoya, Truex, Kurt Busch, Boyer, Logano, Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle. They're all coming down. Let's send it to Vince.
Well, Kevin Harvick says the car is just not good, especially in traffic where they're mired right now after that lug nut issue. Said it just won't turn, so they're going to go back up on the track bar. Air pressure in both rear tires. Dave?
Logano been running in the 16th position. He's going to get another wedge adjustment. His car has been mostly tight, but after it takes off well, 4-tire change for the 20. Jeff Gordon in as well. He'll get a 4-tire stop for the 24.
Gordon pulls out right behind him. There goes Clint Boyer. And as these guys come back out on the track, Denny Hamlin still continues to lead. He's led 160 laps in his quest for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
24 hours, folks, today. Here we go.
ESPN, the home court of college hoops, and the season begins with the College Hoops Tip-Off Marathon. 24 hours, non-stop college basketball. It starts Monday at midnight with 19th-ranked Tigers against the Hurricanes. Then Tuesday at 6, the 5th-ranked Buckeyes take on the 11th-ranked Gators. And then so on and so on. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. College Hoops Tip-Off Marathon. You're going to be in 7th heaven, aren't you, DJ?
Yeah, but one thing I saw on there is they had that North Carolina Tar Heel sticker way too small. They need to get that bigger on there.
All right, here are the points update. And knows how costly this mistake on the lug nut could be for Harvick. Right now, he's 139 markers. But this yellow may play into some strategy for him. Listen in.
If it goes green, we can make it from right there. They can't make it either. Better hope for green then.
Harvick will restart 16th. Hamlin, of course, up front. Jimmy Johnson in the 4th position. And the lights are out on the pace car. And now the sun is really going to start coming into play, heading down into turn number 1.
I got to think that is really going to play havoc on these guys on restarts, Dale.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, Andy.
Yeah, this is the most difficult part right here.
Notice on Carl Edwards how much extra tape he has on there to help shade the sun. Green flag flies. We're going to find out. Side by side coming out on the backstretch. Edwards doing all he can to retake the lead. Remember, he sat on pole, led early. But it looks like it's going to be Denny Hamlin.
Carl Edwards tried to drive it off in there beside Denny Hamlin. Got a little loose, had to go up the track.
Looking back there in the middle, 3 wide, Juan Pablo Montoya. And a contact between the 39 and the 31.
Yeah, Ryan Newman got loose getting down into turn 1. Got into left rear. Jeff Burton a little bit, cost both of them some time.
Battle for 3rd, side by side, is Kyle Busch right there with the 48. A little evasive mover there.
I'm not sure Kyle Busch's car is to his liking. Could just be we haven't seen his car be extremely fast right after they put new tires on. Gets better after a few laps, though.
Boy, the 3 cars right behind him are having a nice little battle as well. as Burton is in that mix with Ryan Newman. The rest of the field goes streaking by.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick back here in the middle of this. He was hoping that after he had driven his way out of this early in the race that he wouldn't have to see any part of this the rest of the day.
But if you want to see a bull in the china shop, watch the 29 because he knows what he's got to do. If you get in his way, he's going to have to do something fast.
Yeah, 3 wide back there. You can see Marcus Ambrose slide up a little bit.
Of course, he's got the 43 right in front. Remember, he and A.J. Allmendinger had a little contact earlier in the race. And that would be for position. That's for 15th right now on the track. Side by side they go through the corner. If he can clear Allmendinger, look what he has to work with in ahead of him. He's got another 5-6 cars, and they're all fighting it out.
Yeah, it's not going to get any easier for him. Latter part of this race, everybody's going to be a little more stingy in giving up that track position that they have, or that position they have in front, so going to have to work extremely hard.
Well, he got Allmendinger. Now he's going after Dale Earnhardt Jr., and that would be for 14th. Tony Stewart, Mark Martin side by side. Joey Logano in the mix. Whoops. Clint Boyer gets a little loose. Gathers it back up. That allows Junior to come side by side with Clint. And again, Harvick saying, get out of my way, guys, please.
Yeah, and Kevin's not sure exactly who may be able to make it and who can't. So one thing he has to do right here is pass as many cars as he possibly can. Hope that that thing does go green, and the ones right up front are going to have to pit, and he could make a pretty good day out of what could potentially be bad with that lug nut missing that they had earlier.
He does have a little bit fresher tires. About 10 total laps. A lot of those were under caution, but they are a little fresher than the other guys.
Whoa!
Yeah, hang on to it, Clint.
Okay.
It's going to open the door. Look at this. Allmendinger is coming right back on the 29. Boyer's trying to hang on to this car and the position. Harvick's trying to get around him. This is all for position on the track. Earnhardt's 13th, Boyer 14th, Harvick 15th. Regan Smith, he is 1 lap down, we should point out. He's in the lucky dog spot. He is 21st.
Copy 2 spot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, boom. See Regan Smith get a little bit sideways there. And Harvick just kind of talking about when the 33 got together there. It cost him a little bit of time. He just have to keep his patience, work through it again.
Yeah, you can see right that 78 is racing David Reagan in the 6th for that lucky dog spot.
That's right. They're both 1 lap down. 21st and 22nd. A little further back, Jeff Gordon, A.J. Allmendinger, Matt Kenseth. Gordon in the 16th spot. Allmendinger 17th, trying to take it away. Here he comes. And here comes Jeff right back.
Yeah, Allmendinger's really having trouble with this car down in the center of turn 3. This goes way up the racetrack. Gets a pretty decent run off the corner, but he's losing so much time in the center.
Now Kenseth comes up alongside the 43. Meanwhile, let's check in on the race leader. Yep, it's Denny Hamlin. He's now led 174 laps, 0.7 of a second lead over Carl Edwards. And right now, if this holds, he would have a 68-point lead heading to Homestead. We are witnessing a dominant performance today at Phoenix International by Denny Hamlin as he is attempting to dethrone the 4-time and reigning champion Jimmie Johnson. He has led 180 of the 255 laps we have run. 57 laps, now 56 this time by. We've had 6 leaders, 12 lead changes, but it's been Denny Hamlin's day so far. Jimmie Johnson finds himself 4th behind Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, and after a pit stop error and a missing lug nut, the 29 of Kevin Harvick is now running in 14th and trying to make up ground. Focusing on Sam Hornish, you know, he's running 28th, 1 lap down, but it could have been a lot worse. Take a look at this wild ride.
Well, this is coming out of turn 2 and down towards the dog leg of the backstretch. Whoa. Got a little air.
Yep. Doing a little off-roading.
He's still racing Paul Menard.
And Sam held on to it. Good job. Although look at the front of the grill work and the splitter. It's got some damage. But he's hanging in there. As we said, 28th, 1 lap down. And that is for position with Menard, by the way. He's in 27th. So as those two continue, let's go up to speed with Doc, who's got Denny Hamlin.
Just amazing what 2 different races are for Denny Hamlin here at Phoenix. Back in April, it was all about agony. 10 days post-operative reconstructive knee surgery. Pain, gruesome pain in the car, and a very miserable 30th place finish. Today, it's all about ecstasy for this 11 team. They know the last 5 times a leader has come to Phoenix, they have added an average of 35 points to their lead. If the race were to end right now, Denny Hamlin would add 35 points to his lead. Got to hang on now for 53 more laps. Dave.
How in the world, if you pit it on lap 224, would you ever go to the end of this race without pitting again? Well, if you're Carl Edwards, who's known for being able to save fuel, you might try it. Listen to this radio.
Yeah, I'm saving a little. I figure if we get a caution, we can beat them off pit road anyway.
At 10-4, but let's focus on the driving.
Just want to make sure that's what you want me to do.
Yeah, I think so. It's a lot of it's going to depend on when it happens, if it happens, okay?
Now, this doesn't look a lot like saving fuel. That's because Carl asked me, tell me when you want me to start. He said, right now I don't. Race him. Go for the lead.
All right, let's go for the battle for the lead, because all of a sudden Carl's showing some life as he's putting pressure on Denny Hamlin. Now 51 laps remaining as they come down into turn number 1.
That's seen Denny Hamlin start to lose a little bit of speed with his lap times here recently. Again, and maybe he's backed off to save some fuel too here, Andy. Yeah, maybe, but you know, the track probably has changed quite a bit, and he's been so good all day. I mean, you can't imagine that he wouldn't have to make a few little changes to his chassis. And here comes Carl.
Side by side into the corner. Now all of a sudden, Denny gets a little edge on him and manages to clear him. Carl's going to try again, though. Edwards, his best Cup finish here has been 4th 3 different times. He's never won in Cup action. He picked up his 4th nationwide win yesterday, and he would love to end that streak of non-winning. This goes all the way back to 2 years ago at Homestead.
Yeah, it looks like right in the center of the corners where Denny's having a little bit of an issue with his car. Maybe it's gotten too tight, sliding the nose. He's got really good drive off, though.
And right now, Carl Edwards' biggest fan is Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick. It's 15 points minimum between 1st and 2nd. Denny also the only of the one of the 3 chase contenders to lead a lap. He's led the most laps, so he's picked up 10 bonus points today. Here comes Carl again. You can get a great view. But again, Denny able to pull.
See how he gets on that apron, that left front on the apron, Carl Edwards. And you can see all the banking roll out of the car. It helps the car turn, but it looks like Denny's getting off the corner pretty good. Been a while since Carl Edwards has won a race.
We talked about it. Homestead back in 08, 70 starts since his last win. And here he goes, side by side. Can he clear him this time? This is where Denny's been really good coming off.
Yeah, and you wonder how hard Denny Hamlin's going to race somebody that hadn't won in that amount of time, because you know he's pretty hungry to get to the front.
Dave, what's the latest you're hearing from the 99 cap as they go again?
Marty, we're taking a look at this great battle. Carl not saving fuel right now, but they got about 11 laps under caution. He clears Hamlin going into 3 here. 11 laps under caution. Bob Osborne told him, I need you to save about a lap and a half. For Carl Edwards, that's very doable. But, guys, we don't know if there's going to be another caution at the end of this race, and everybody comes for tires and fuel.
2 drivers have swept the weekend in Phoenix history. Can Carl become the 3rd? Because right now he's back out in front. He led early in this race 47 times, and it's the 5th time that he's led today. And how about Carl yesterday? Yeah, with the sun right in his eyes. Yep, the backflip. He wants to do that again today.
Kobalt Tools 500 at Phoenix is brought to you by Kobalt. Tough, rugged, built to last, guaranteed. Kobalt is the next generation of tough tools. Sold exclusively at Lowe's, AT&T, and Diet Mountain Dew, which congratulates Jason Carino for having his Diet Dew car design chosen by Dale Jr. for today's race. More at Facebook.com/Mountain Dew.
And back here at Phoenix International, 39 laps to go with Carl Edwards out in front now by almost a full second over Denny Hamlin as his car has found new life after leading early in this race. But Hamlin doing what he wants to do as far as trying to put a stranglehold on the points because Jimmy Johnson has dropped one spot to Juan Pablo Montoya. He's in 5th, and here comes Ryan Newman to try and put him back to 6th.
Yeah, Newman tried a couple of times to make that inside work. He's going to try the high side on Jimmy Johnson now.
Jeff Burton right behind as well. Remember, Burton having a banner day as he started 40th. And how's this for, we've talked pre-race about Jimmy's domination here. In the last 5 Phoenix races, Jimmy's led 3 times as many laps as any other driver. Today, he hasn't had a sniff at the lead. And he's just got passed again. Jamie, what are you hearing?
The car just isn't right still, Marty. They've been working away on it. He's free in and free off. He says we need to keep it turning to be good on the long run, but he's not having any luck. Right now, he'd be 58 points back to the 11. Definitely not having the day they had hoped for in the 48 cam.
All right, Jamie, thanks for the update. How about updating the current point situation? It is not looking good for the 48 or Kevin Harvick. 63 and 112, although Harvick has picked up a couple of more spots. He's back up to the 12th position. Now, 36 laps to go. We know that Carl Edwards thinks he can go the distance. Let's bring Ray Ehrenhand in and let's get you 2 crew chiefs talking about strategy. What if we get a yellow? What do you do?
Well, guys, go ahead, Andy.
No, I think if I'm Harvick, his back's kind of against the wall. Watching his lap times right now, they're as fast as anybody. Matter of fact, he had the 2nd fastest lap time last lap. You'd think he might want to take 2 tires if the caution came out now just to try to take track position. But, he's running 12th. Would you try to roll the dice that you could beat some guys out, Ray?
Well, Andy, I think right now, if he's going to score the maximum points, he's got to hope if the yellow comes out, I'd come in and get 2, and you've got to hope that some of those other guys that pitted with him would also take 2 and get some distance between he and the other guys. So it really depends on what the other guys do that I think will determine Kevin Harvick's fate. 2 tires might be the right call for him, but he's going to need some jam cars, if you will, between him and those fast cars. Yeah,
and really, there's nothing to lose for Kevin. I mean, he's sitting back there in 12th spot right now, and not much to lose. He's out of the championship if he doesn't make something happen. So maybe that's a way he could make something happen on a restart.
Well, Kevin Harvick right now is 10 seconds behind the race lead. His next target would be Mark Martin, who is in the 11th spot, and then Kurt Busch up in 10th. And there you see the 2 of them right ahead. Gives you some proximity of where they are. But the laps are starting to wind down quickly. When you're this far back, 33 doesn't sound like much.
I guess a bigger question, if the caution doesn't come out, the big question is, can the 11 and the 48 make it here on fuel?
Well, if you don't have a handling car, do you go in, like Jimmy Johnson, do you go into fuel conservation mode and hope that Hamlin has to make a stop and maybe you steal this?
Well, you go into fuel conservation mode if you're close. If you're not close, it's not going to help you. All you're going to do is lose spots right here.
What about Denny Hamlin as far as his fuel situation? He's 1.5 seconds behind Carl Edwards. What are you hearing, Doc?
Marty, a couple of issues. As far as the handling first, this is the most difficult issue he's had all day long. He said it's loose in, tight in the center, and loose off. And the worst news from Mike Ford a moment ago, he told his driver, Denny Hamlin, we are 12 laps short on fuel. We cannot make it.
Yeah, so you can't save that kind of fuel. That's what I say. You're not going to go into conservation mode at that point. You just run it out as hard as you can, hope the caution comes out. If it doesn't, you make a pit stop and hope everybody else has to pit.
You saw Mike Ford on the right there. He's worked with 3 other champions, but not in their championship year. Bill Elliott, Terry Labonte, and our own Dale Jarrett. Can he get his own this year? Race leader Carl Edwards is the third car in that train, and he has 26 laps to go to get his first ever Sprint Cup win and to pull off the double after winning yesterday's nationwide race. His lead over Denny Hamlin is 1.8 seconds. You can see the lap traffic in front of him, though. Casey Mears and the 82 of Scott Speed. Look a little further back, and there is Denny Hamlin, and we're starting to think about fuel strategy because look at the guy on the bottom.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's got 10 extra laps on fuel on the rest of the cars because he made that extra pit stop. And then you got Denny Hamlin, whose crew said he was 12 laps short. He's going to have to make a pit stop here fairly soon, within the next 12 to 15 laps.
And let's flash back to yesterday's nationwide race. We all thought there was going to be a late race caution. That's what history told us. It never happened. If this stays green, you may be looking at a guy who could just slide by and really steal one.
Yeah, this could turn the points upside down.
Vince?
Twice this season, there's been a 100-point or more swing for Kevin Harvick in the standings, and he needs that kind of day now. He needs this race to go to the end because that's the only way he's going to make it to the front. The fuel game.
When we did it, we were good to go. I mean, we're just right on the number. Yeah, we're right there. It shows we ought to make it right there. Right to 312.
Remember when Harvick had that dropped lug nut, or that lug nut that was not put on their pit stop, and he said we needed to go green. Gil Martin told him we needed to go green all the way to the end, and Harvick said that's our only chance. Well, it might be coming to fruition.
Well, and he's awfully loose coming off of 4 in the last couple of laps.
I was going to say, if he's going to make this strategy work, he can't wreck the thing.
Here are the points right now as they run. Hamlin second, Johnson 6th, Harvick 12th. You can see the swing could be huge, and his only shot right now is for this to stay green. Rusty, what about the tire situation? You got an observation there?
Well, not much of an observation, Marty, but that's my biggest concern right now. That's a lot to ask out of the right front tire with all the brake heat these cars are getting. I mean, you got to believe if they're going to run this long, we could be looking at a right front problem. These guys have been stopping at about 70 laps, but I've been calculating down here that they could go on fuel as far as about up to 80 laps. That's about 4.5 miles per gallon, picking up about 18.8 gallons of fuel. That's what most of them can do at their max. So it's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough on that right front tire.
Well, and there's a couple of other guys that think they may be able to go the distance. Montoya and Newman, they're running 4th and 5th right now on the track. We'll have to keep tabs on them. In fact, let's check in with Tim Brewer over at the Craftsman Tech Garage.
Guys, the key to a fuel cell is not how much you put in, it's how much you get out of it. But what we have over here, centrifugal force is going to force the fuel over through these doors, but over here in this area right here, that's the fuel pickup. We've got this baffle that will contain it because you got a little bit of banking, but you're depending on putting 18.7 gallons in here. This run, you better get 18.7 out if you're going to win this race. Guys?
Of course, if you're Casey Kane, you can take your gas can with you.
Yeah,
Fill up as you go.
10 gallons there.
Doc, give us an update on the 11.
Well, Denny Hamlin has come on the radio the last 3 or 4 laps and asked Mike Ford if we're going to have to pit, what about short pitting? What about coming in early, go ahead and get the fuel and get back out and try to dig it, get as much as we can on the racetrack? Mike basically has said, let's stay out until we have to come. Andy, what would you have said to your driver?
Well, he's sitting in the driver's seat right now, Doc. By being the point leader, you really kind of want to play defense on that. If he pits right now, which would be good if everybody makes a pit stop and it goes green, it could really hurt him if the caution comes out. And I just wouldn't want to put myself, I think there's just too much to lose by doing that.
The brain trust on the right, you can see the look of concern as he is trying to figure out exactly what strategy he wants to play with the laps winding down, 17 to go.
He's got to get close to having to make this stop, though.
Yeah, and I don't see, as I look at who's running in front of Kevin Harvick, probably there's at least 4 cars in front of Harvick, so it's not like he's going to gain all 112 points, but he has a great chance of making this battle a lot closer as we go to Homestead if this goes green.
All right, let's get an update on the 48. He's running 7th right now, Jamie.
Well, he last pitted on lap 223, and it wasn't until lap 289 crew chief Chad Canals came on the radio and said, Jimmy, I need you to save me some fuel. I need you to be smooth on the throttle. And Jimmy said, well, how much? He said, I will tell you how fast to go. And then Chad, just a moment ago, got frustrated and threw a piece of paper off the pit box, watching his driver, guys. They're going to be really close. Vince?
22 of 1, Pablo Montoya is running 4th, but he might be in the catbird seat because the 3 in front of him have to pit. Montoya Montoya is a lap to the good on fuel. Remember, he took 2 tires on his last stop. A good call by crew chief Brian Patty. It's interesting because they started 35th today. That's their worst starting position in 2 years. But Montoya has executed the plan flawlessly. They've driven through the field, now in a great position. Dave?
Vince, if it stays green, the 99 certainly will not pit. Carl Edwards still leading this race and got a good benchmark from crew chief Bob Osborne. Bob told him, drive it like you drove the first segment of this race. That was when he was in the lead, holding everybody off. He'll have enough fuel. Let's go to Doc. Denny's on pit road.
Coming in 2 laps before he had to. It'll be right side tires and fuel for Denny Hamlin. The money stop, maybe the championship stop for this crew. Counting the fuel in now. Right side tires going on. Can of fuel in. Hamlin down and away. Just a little over 7.5 seconds.
Kyle Busch also came in and made a pit stop as well. Carl Edwards, as you can see, still out, going around David Rudiman, who is in 25th spot, now 2 laps down. Hamlin comes back out. You just saw him there. And he is a lap down right now to the race leader, Carl Edwards.
But what he needs to do is try to get back on the lead lap. If he can do that and the caution comes out, it won't hurt him too bad because the other cars will pit.
And he should be able to do this with those 2 right side tires. He should be able to run Carl Edwards down rather quickly here, especially with Carl in conservation mode.
Look at the point swing with Denny now dropping back to 19th as a result of the pit stop. That's how quickly this could change.
Well, Jimmy Johnson, we don't think can make it either.
As he goes around David Rudiman. Remember, Montoya pitted on lap 235. Here are some of the others. Logano, Biffle at 235, Kurt Busch, and Kevin Harvick. Those guys are still out there. Here we go, 3 wide down the front stretch. Kyle Busch, remember, he also has made his stop, so he's got a fresher set of tires, and he goes by those 2.
Remember your throttle.
Okay, that was Jimmy Johnson's spotter.
Now, Denny Hamlin has gotten back around the race leader, so that puts him back on the tail end of the lead lap. He's still in 19th position, but the point you made, he's on the lead lap.
Yeah, that was a big move right there, because if the caution comes out, he will stay on the lead lap. And then he'll be able to come around, and when he does that, other cars will make a pit stop. So he can stay out and actually go back to the lead.
Now look down in front of us. The 82 cars come in, and just what Rusty was talking about, he has a flat right front tire, but he was able to get to pit road before any of the debris came off on the track.
Hamlin goes around Allmendinger on the right side of your screen. That puts him up into 18th position. The tire change on the right front for Scott Speed. He's back out. Check on the battle for 5th right now. Jimmy Johnson has it. Joey Logano wants to take it away and help his teammate.
He's basically got to let Joey go if he's going to try to save fuel and stay on this strategy.
Yeah, Logano's one of those that came in at lap 235, so he has fresher tires and more fuel.
Jeff Burton now on pit road. Doc?
It'll be right side tires and fuel for Jeff Burton. Said they've been battling all year long. They've had great runs and poor finishes, giving it away at the very end. Right side tires going on, getting 1 can of fuel in, down and away. Great stop, the 31 bunch.
Carl Edwards continues out there with a 6-second lead over Juan Pablo Montoya. That's right, Montoya is now up to 2nd spot. Ryan Newman is 3rd. Joey Logano is in 4th.
Got Harvick in 8th.
And Denny Hamlin in 16th. There is Juan Pablo. Already documented how tough a day he had on qualifying. Ended up starting 35th in this race.
And you know, I would go back to Jimmy Johnson, Jack and Naus. We've seen them a few times try to stretch fuel, and it hasn't been very successful for them,
Yeah,
Andy.
it hardly ever works for them. So I think they're they're almost in a no-win situation. They almost have to try it right here.
Johnson now 10 seconds behind the race lead. Here's how the points are continuing to swing.
And if he runs out of fuel, he's going to lose a ton of spots, and he'll basically be out of it.
Jamie?
It's that risk versus reward thing. Chad Canal staying very calm on the radio just told Jimmy, all right, keep it going, stay smooth, turn off all of your fans, and don't use the brakes. How does that fly, DJ?
Well, you just have to work your way around. I think if, as a driver, I would have liked to have known before Chad came on and told Jimmy, you could have been doing even more before that to let your car roll. Still not lost a lot of speed, but there were things that you could do.
Greg Biffle goes flying by. Watch him feather the throttle, and let's flash back to Loudon. Remember, Tony Stewart ran out 1 lap short.
Yeah, let's see if Jimmy ever even gets wide open. I don't think we're going to see him get anywhere close.
Try to stay ahead of that 29 if possible.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's a factor. You know, you're going to gain a lot of points on the 11, and that's your main concern.
4 to go. 4. Nice and smooth now. Nice and smooth.
Kevin Harvick is now 7th. Jimmy Johnson running 6th. The drama continues to unfold. 5 laps to go.
Jimmy doing a great job of saving fuel. I'm looking at that throttle trace, and it's just staying half throttle or less. And still able to make decent time.
Carl Edwards, we can tell you as you watch all this, 5-second lead over Juan Pablo Montoya.
Got Denny Hamlin back in 15th spot right now. This is going to be a long 3.5 laps for Jimmy Johnson, though.
Hamlin is 22 seconds behind the race lead. He is only 11 seconds behind Jimmy Johnson.
Man, Carl Edwards, we've seen him do amazing things the last few years with fuel mileage, but this is really going to be one of his best efforts if he makes this work.
We're backing up some more. If the 29 gets us, he gets us.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. That's what I would have done, too.
Yeah. Carl Edwards. There have been 2 other weekend sweeps here. Jeff Burton did it in 2000. Kevin Harvick did it in 2006. The 33 out of fuel, Vince.
That's exactly right, and there's been communication between the 33 and the 29 teams, but no doubt about it, the 33, well, he's had a tough day. You see that damage in the back end. They're going to make a 4-tire change on Clint Boyer and get him back out, but a disappointing finish for the 33 team.
Carl Edwards is backed out of the throttle as well. He's running a 32nd lap. 2 laps to go. Next time by the white flag. He still has a 4.5-second lead over Juan Pablo Montoya. Newman's 3rd. Logano is in 4th. In the final lap here goes Jeff Burton around. And the big question is, can Jimmy Johnson make it on fuel?
He's kept Kevin Harvick behind him also, watching the battle.
Carl Edwards down in the field.
Bud. You only got 3/4 of a lap. Let him go if you need to.
There it is.
42's out of gas in front of you on the bottom.
You heard it. Montoya has run out of fuel, but here comes Carl Edwards. He's done it. He swept the weekend. And now, who's going to end up ahead in the chase? There's Jimmy. Here comes Harvick. They're both heading for the stripe. And they cross with Johnson in 5th. Harvick in 6th place. Kenseth 7th. And Denny Hamlin is limping home after having to make that stop in 12th position.
Boys, that's the way to end the streak right there. Fast car, good mileage. Woo! All right, we won!
He breaks a 70-race winless streak. And Bob Osborne, he is one happy guy, even though you'll never see him change that expression. 17th career win for Carl. And in the mix, we have ourselves a chase going to the final race. Denny, frustrated. He drove the wheels off all day, led 190 laps, and because he needed that last stop, finishes in 12th. Carl wants to go up and visit the fans. They didn't have this ready for him yesterday. They got him ready today. He started this back in Texas. Look at this. The fans are loving this. Carl, you better be careful. They may not let you out of there.
That could be dangerous. Might be the most dangerous thing he's done all day. Well, there's nothing better than having a fast race car and good fuel mileage to go along with it. You see a very, very frustrated Denny Hamlin right here. Carl Edwards. Actually, Jimmy Johnson went 88 laps that last run.
Kevin Harvick dodges a bullet because of that extra yellow where he was able to come in, top off. He's only 46 points behind, 15 markers behind for Jimmy Johnson to the points leader, Denny Hamlin. The closest chase with 1 race to go between 1st and 2nd was 18 points in 2004. We've got that beat this year. Between 1st and 3rd, it was 21 in 2004. Vince?
Well, Kevin Harvick, you talk about dodging a bullet. You did it today. You had a car in the top 5. The lug nut didn't get put on. You had to go all the way back after having to come in. How relieved are you now to be sitting in the position you are after this finish?
We're just lucky, to be honest with you. You know, these guys on pit road, they do a great job and just made a mistake. And I was pretty down. I thought, you know, there it went. And, you know, Richard and Gil and everybody's just like, keep at it. You never know what's going to happen. And then he told me we can make it on gas. And the car just didn't handle very good in traffic. And once we got up towards the front, it was handling pretty good. And the further towards the front we got, the better the car got. So we dodged one for sure. And still got a chance next week. So that's all you can ask for.
How does it feel to be in this position, knowing that you dodged the bullet, sets the stage for a showdown in the final week of the season?
Yeah, I don't know how many points it is, but, you know, I'll take these guys up against anybody. And, you know, I believe those guys on pit road can do the best job. And I never said a word about anything on the pit stop because they've done such a great job over the last 4 weeks. And we just got to keep doing that. So our car will be fast next week. It was fast this week. Not quite as good as the 99 or 11, but we really never got to restart up there with him. So just got to thank all Richard and Gil for keeping me pumped up after I got a little down, and we hung with it.
You trimmed 13 points off the deficit, by the way, so 46 down going to Homestead, Marty.
And you saw him say 46. I think he was hoping it would be a little closer, and boy, that man is got to be wondering, what do I have to do? Let's go back and tell you right at the end of the race, comes home in 12th. Look at him, and you can't blame him.
Not at all. No, he did everything as a driver you can possibly do. Came out here, dominated this race. It's just so frustrating, things that you can't handle.
Doc?
Yeah, he comes here and dominates a race, leading 190 laps, and then climbs out of the car. Denny, I know, I just can't imagine the emotions you're feeling right now. What are the thoughts?
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. We were in a good position there to look pretty good at going into next week, and now we got to just outrace them next week.
You still have a 15-point lead headed to Homestead. You said at the beginning of the chase, if we can keep it close going to Homestead, as good as this team is there, we think we've got them. Now, what about next week? What is the mindset?
I don't know. You know, good cars and all that. We had all that today, and things didn't work out strategy-wise. So, you know, it's tough to say. It's tough to say what we got to do. We did what we had to do today. Just you know, didn't have it there at the end. So, you know, it's frustrating. But I'm proud of these guys. We had a car that could win, and that's something that I hadn't had here in a long time. So, proud of this whole FedEx team. We're just going to go there next week and try to win that race.
You had lots of power today. I heard you and Mike talking on the cool-down lap about the fuel mileage. What can you do? What can be done to maybe help yourself between now and next week?
I'm really not sure. We've had the best fuel mileage of everyone every single week, so I don't know why it would be worse today. So, you know, I don't know if we're just trying to be smart and conservative there, or we really were truly short. We'll have to figure that out and move on. But, you know, it's tough to not be happy with having a point lead going in the last race, but I was sitting pretty.
That sums it up. He was sitting pretty. Jamie?
Well, if my calculations were right, Jimmie Johnson went 89 laps on one tank of fuel. Jimmy, what was it like driving this race car, knowing you had to conserve, you couldn't use brakes, you had to turn off the fans? What else did you do?
I did anything I could to stay out of the throttle. Give up a couple positions at the end, and when drive it to pit road, I think, man, I should have fought a little harder for those 2 spots. So right now, every point counts. But, you know, just a solid performance. And we ran well all day long. Our pit stops were phenomenal and kept us out of trouble a lot on you know, because of the great stops on pit road. And then we had to work whatever magic we could there at the end and saved fuel and got it done. And we have one heck of a points race going to Miami. I'm pumped. I'm so happy to put pressure on that 11 team. We're ready to race for this thing.
You're still the hunter, though. 15 points back to Denny Hamlin going into a racetrack, one of the few, the only chase track you've never won at. What is your mindset?
I know what my mindset is, and I hope that the pressure of us being on his heels really works on his mind throughout the course of the week. He and his crew, these guys better be on their toes. Not only do they have the 48 to worry about, but they got the 29, and one race winner take all. It's going to be one hell of a show.
Jimmie Johnson brings it home 5th today. Marty?
All right, let's show you the points because we have the closest chase ever between 1st and 2nd. Just 15 markers between Hamlin and Johnson. And don't count Kevin Harvick out. He dodged the bullet today. He's within 46.
welcome back. Oh, got a phone call right at the moment. He was back in victory lane for the first time in 70 races. Who's calling?
That's my wife. It's a new Sprint feature. You can see the person on TV when you're talking to them. They're working on it. But
HD on ESPN is definitely clear at this point, I'm sure. Welcome back to victory lane.
Man, this is unreal. I have a lot of people to thank. Aflac, what they do is they stick behind you when you need someone to stick behind you, and they stuck behind us. They've been an amazing partner, and I'm so proud to win for Aflac. And for Ford, Ford Fusion gets great fuel mileage, I can tell you that. Jack Roush said, I'd forgotten what it felt like to win one on fuel mileage, except for that feeling in the pit of your stomach for the last 2 laps. I said, I know the feeling. And thanks to the fans, that's so cool to be able to go up there and celebrate with the fans.
The track listened to you, didn't they?
Yeah, that was really nice. I saw them unlocking the gate. That was very cool. I got to thank Scott's, Kellogg's. I ate my Frosted Mini Wheats this morning. Subway, when they gave me 5 to go, I gave them the foot long. And just everybody, Cessna Citation Service Centers and Joe Mockins Ford back in Columbia. And just everybody for sticking with us. It's been a long drought. It's been really hard to keep our confidence up, and this is what we needed.
And you did it on a sweep weekend.
Yeah, that's unreal. This is so neat, man. It still doesn't feel like this really happened. We needed this win. This is very special. And once again, thank you, Aflac. I really appreciate it. Just unreal. Thanks to the fans. This is cool. And I love you, Kate. I love you, Annie. I'll be home soon.
All right, Carl will be back soon. Victory lane at Phoenix for Carl Edwards twice this weekend, Vince.
Ryan Newman, a winner here in April, and comes through with second place today. Fuel to the end was the key, but you had a good race car too, didn't you?
We did have a good car. The U.S. Army Chevrolet was pretty good all day long, and I got to apologize to Jeff Burton. I got into him there a little bit on one of those restarts, but Veterans Day paint scheme, got to thank all the veterans out there, especially U.S. Army. I'm proud to represent them, thinking about my buddy Schumacher over in Pomona, and we'll go try to get him one more time in Homestead. But a great run, great effort for the team today.
Ryan Newman, well done on a week that's very special for his sponsor, Veterans Day week, and Ryan Newman brings it home second today at Phoenix.
And Chad Knaus' driver brings it home 5th today. Wow, what you guys had to battle through. A race car that you told me was down on speed to begin with this weekend. How did you guys pull this off? 89 laps of one tank.
Yeah, the guys did a really good job. With the fuel numbers that we had, we were going to be pretty close when we stopped with 88 to go. As soon as we took off, I told Jimmy to go ahead and save fuel and start saving at that point. Obviously, you can't predict what's going to happen. When that caution came out just a couple laps into it, that definitely helped us a lot. Jimmy saved a lot of fuel at that point. And with about 25 to go, we were listening, obviously, to the Gibbs cars, and we knew that they were going to be light. So 25 to go, I told him to go ahead and start backing off some more. And then once the 11 to 18 pitted, we could really just start laying back and making sure we made it. So it turned out great. It was a great race. The Kobalt race here was awesome. It's cool to have them for a sponsor. The fans saw one hell of a race.
Certainly risk versus reward. 15 points separate him. I know Chad Knaus excited to head on to Homestead. Alan?
Jamie, thanks. I think at the beginning of our broadcast earlier today, I used the phrase, the craziest chase ever. Okay, this adds into that story. I'm sticking by my words. How do you figure on a racetrack where we've seen late caution flags with less than, after lap 300 in a 312-lap race, in 3 of the last 4 races, including 2 green-white checker finishes in that time, you get the long run to the finish, and fuel mileage decides it.
Well, that's right. You play the odds, and you lose. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, the stats change.
Well, I tell you, man, but Denny Hamlin just simply dominated this day. And to come away, I mean, I understand. You can see it in his face, hear it in his voice. It was almost a catastrophic day for that race team to let that 48 and 29 gain and stay that close within striking distance going down to last week. He's not going to sleep all week.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I watched it right to the very end, and I'm thinking, somebody, please don't crash. Just stay out there, because if they don't crash and a caution doesn't come out, we have got the tightest chase in history, and we got it right now going into Homestead, and it's a fantastic feeling. I'm really excited for next week.
And most interesting thing to me, the post-race comments, the 48 team, Jimmy Johnson in particular,
laying it down.
firing back at the 11. The mind games have begun, and we have quite a season finale setting up for next Sunday afternoon down in South Florida. More post-race from Phoenix coming up. Stay with us. And then there was one race left in the wild penultimate race. Today's race in Phoenix. Continuing coverage coming up on SportsCenter, presented by Verizon. That is next. We'll go back over and rehash just how this whole championship looked one way and turned around completely the other way in the final laps of this race. Of course, in a fuel mileage finish, a lot of the results get turned around. Joey Logano came through with a 3rd place run, Doc.
Well, Joey Logano, 3 consecutive top 5 finishes, first time in your career. Great run today.
Yeah, awesome job. I owe this one to the team, really, more than anything. Started the race, we weren't very well at all. Yeah, we were we were struggling. I think we fell back all the way to 20th from, or maybe further than that. Just really fighting with the balance of the car. Greg Zipadelli and all the guys did an awesome job getting this thing right, and that was pretty amazing to get the thing good there at the end. We like I said, we struggled a lot. We fought a lot of different things. Our pit stall was terrible. The 24 was right behind us, 13 was in front of us, so we got pinned in there like 3 times. So it was hard for us to gain track position in the pits just for that reason only, and really fought a lot of things. So sometimes a little misfortune turned into good fortune there at the end of the race. So we were able to pit, when a lot of guys stayed out, which helped us a little bit with track position at the end of the race there with guys needing to pit. But at the same time, we got this thing good enough to be up where we finished. We just fought a lot of things to get here.
Joey, you guys pitted, and the 11 and 18, your teammates stayed out. They didn't make it on fuel. You did and finished 3rd. So, boy, that might have cost them.
Yeah, that's a tough gig, man. It's so hard to call. There was a lot of green flag runs here today, and like I said, we just got lucky there with the Home Depot Toyota and got it, pitted at the right time. And I know we're close there at the end, but I think it was about 5-6 laps. When everyone decided to stay out, which at the time makes sense. And looking back at it, I guess you can say it wasn't, but who would have known?
Joey Logano finishing 3rd, and these finishes the last few weeks have been 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd today.
Greg Biffle finishes 4th here today at Phoenix, and boy, it was a battle. They say it's a short race, but I think there was a lot of battles out there that made it long. How would you assess your day?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a 600-mile race to us. Scotch Ford Fusion was pretty good. We were about a 10th place car, and there at the end, we started getting better and better. We drove up to about 6th or 7th. And, then we got about 3 guys on fuel mileage, so we ended up 4th. So it was a great day for us, great points day. Just wish we'd had more of these in the chase. We could have been closer in the hunt in this thing because I think we finished in front of, all the guys leading the points. So it's unfortunate that we got out early, but, great day for us. Look forward to Homestead. We got a great take of the Texas car, so feel good about that.
Greg Biffle, 4th today.
All right, so great top 5 finish for Biffle. And again, we check the championship standings. An 18-point gain today for Jimmy Johnson, a 13-point gain for Kevin Harvick. You see 15 and 46, the gap between themselves and championship leader Denny Hamlin heading to the final race of the season. So they pitted with 88 laps to go, the guys that made it to the finish, like Johnson. They had 7 laps of caution in there, and they had enough to make it work.
Well, different drivers were able to do different things out there, Alan. The way they drive the car, I was looking at Mark Martin. He went a long way. He made it. A lot of guys made it, but just because they pedaled the car, I call it getting out of driving it real nice and easy. So driver style is way, way different out there. And that's what let some of them make it on fuel. Obviously, Kevin Harvick, he was one of the last guys to pit. He had 10 more laps of fuel in his car. Made sense.
Yeah.
The rest of them, not so lucky.
Thank goodness Denny Hamlin gained those bonus points today. I mean, he could have been a bigger deficit if he hadn't done that. And it's just amazing what happened today. It's like a novel that transpired.
It
today.
is, and certainly the chase is the big story. But let's look at how far those Roush Fords have come up. With Carl having a perfect weekend, and you look at where Biffle and Kent has finished, they've definitely found something there. Could be a big factor going into next week's race still.
Yeah, going to be very tough down at Homestead, Miami, where the Roush Fenway team has traditionally been very strong. Kevin Harvick came up with a good day out of something that looked pretty bleak for a little while. Vince is with his crew chief, Gil Martin.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like a disaster had struck when that lug nut didn't get on the wheel during that pit stop with less than 100 to go. But, Gil, it ends up playing in your favor, actually. How would you describe how those final laps unfolded?
I know that there's no stress test the doctor can give you that compares for that right there. But, I mean, the guys on pit road, they did a great job all day long. And in Texas last week, there won't be no crew changes on our deal. Those guys are doing a fabulous job. But, I mean, yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster right there. But at the end, we would have had to gotten gas or slowed up like the 48 did. And when we were running in 13th, it wouldn't have done us any good because we would have just started falling back. So it worked out about as best as it could work out. So coming out here with a 6, gaining 13 points, go to Homestead 46 points. Hey, man, we're in this thing. I think we still got them.
It didn't look good for him, Alan, but that's why they run the race, right? That's why they run the laps.
It's amazing. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You can't count the points until the checkered flag is fallen, and today what looked very bleak for Gil Martin and the Kevin Harvick team turned out to be a pretty decent day here in Phoenix. More post-race coverage on NASCAR Now tonight at 8 Eastern Time over on ESPN2, and a full roundtable discussion of this one, 5 Eastern, ESPN2 on Monday. The NHRA Auto Club of Southern California Finals from Pomona tonight, 9 Eastern on ESPN. And then next weekend, it's on to the finales. The Nationwide Series Ford 300, Homestead Miami, Saturday, 4 Eastern, ESPN2. And the championship deciding race, the Ford 400 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, 1 Eastern next Sunday, ESPN. Countdown is on ESPN2 at noon Eastern next Sunday. So, quick thoughts on the week ahead for these championship contenders with that finale looming 7 days away.
Well, obviously, last time Denny Hamlin won this race, he's in great shape to go there and win again. He dominated here today, but my biggest concern going into next week is the groove they run. They have to run right against the wall if you want to run fast. If you make one slip, you clobber that wall, you tear your chances up, you tear the carve. We see it all the time down at Homestead.
A lot of anticipation coming into this weekend. Next week, it just gets doubled because when we're done, at the end of the day, we're going to be handing someone a championship trophy, and we got 3 cats that are still tangled up in this thing.
Yeah, and we've got 2 of those cats that are in your face, Chase.
That's
They're
right.
trash talking. Don't forget about that guy that's sitting in third. He made up a little bit today, and he has run well on those mile-and-a-half racetracks.
Talk before you're into the mind games of this championship.
In your face, Chase, baby.
Now we heard the
Thriller
48
in Miami.
fire a volley. Now what does the 11 team have to do when they go back to their shops tomorrow?
They've got to make sure that they work and try and find out about the fuel mileage thing, because it can definitely come to fuel mileage in Homestead. If you want to make big power, you're going to burn fuel.
And they got to get pumped up. They're the only team we saw of the 3 that really looked deflated today.
You talk about fuel mileage. We've seen Carl Edwards at Homestead, Florida, go long, long way in fuel mileage. He can do it there. He did it here today. He's got it in his back book if he needs to do it again next week.
So Carl Edwards, your winner here in Phoenix. Sports Center presented by Verizon, and more post-race coverage from Phoenix is coming up next. And next weekend, what should be a grand finale down at Homestead Miami Speedway in Florida. Sports Center is right now.